Hey!
We be live.
Yes.
Who do we have here? We have Gustav, we have Gray Jedi, we have Kenji, we have Ghost Bunny, we have Goddess Katie, we have AGA, we have Qasim. Yay! Hi everyone.
Lots of people.
We're live here on Atheist Republic on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. And we're gonna be covering the news. And we have 10 news items, like every week to cover. Susanna is the person who picks the news that we're gonna cover. And we're gonna give you our commentary on it. And also, if you have any interesting comments in the live chat, we might highlight them. So if we don't highlight them, that means your comment was crap and not worthy of highlighting.
Actually, it's worth saying that. It drives me crazy when people are in the live chat like, you didn't read my comment. You didn't read my comment. Maybe it wasn't worth saying.
No. Sometimes we miss it. Sometimes
we do. But a lot of times I'm like,
but
this
sometimes
is
we
just
see it and we're like, nah, not really. We love our community so much.
We do. We actually do.
We attack them all the time.
You on the attack.
Okay.
Of course, you make me so red, like right into the beginning of the show.
Wait, what microphone have you selected? Can you tap your microphone? Because it seems your audio is crap today. Yes, that's not the mic that has been selected. And that is not the mic. Oh.
What?
No, that's not.
Yes, it is.
Tap it again. Nope, that's not the mic that has been selected. Your audio seems like you're coming out of it like a.
Was it like this before the stream?
Yes. Is this a crappy comment? Literally, yes. There's a poop emoji there.
Oh.
All right. Memento Mori. Yes. Memento Mori. Oh. All right. Sus,
is it better?
No, it's same. Crap audio. We can't get started until you fix your mic. I'm just gonna look at
everything says that it's the correct one.
Tap it. No. Huh? There we go. You fixed it.
Okay, that's bizarre.
See, guys, I'll fix things, right? You know, look at the audio quality now.
You fix things? What were we talking about before the stream?
Yeah. Look at our audio quality. Just got perfect, right? See? Okay. Make sure that doesn't happen again. Because if I hadn't noticed, that would all the 10 news items that we cover would have become crappy audio. Yeah. What are you going to do? All right. Let's do... Yes, see? Ghost Bunny agrees. Why does Susie always seems to have issues? Even Ghost Bunny, who is the sweetest person in our live chat, even she is like attacking you with
me.
That's
how I know it's bad.
that's how you know it's bad, right?
Oh, wait, this is a cute comment. I like this. I love you guys so much. Big love from Algeria.
Oh, hey.
Big love back. Okay, anyways.
Let's get to the news.
Yes.
Wait, no, that's not right.
There we go. So,
first of all, can we clap? No, we can't clap. Right?
I guess not. No.
But also, this video, am I able to play it, or is that going to be like unfriendly for YouTube?
I don't think so.
I think it's fine. All right. Wait, first news. Go.
Okay. First news. Muslim YouTuber Mufti Abu Layth's home invaded over views on Palestine. So I could talk about this news literally for an hour straight. This is a big thing that happened this past week. So in Birmingham, the United Kingdom, on May 17th, prominent YouTuber and Muslim theologian Mufti Abu Layth's home in Birmingham was attacked by a masked mob waving Palestinian flags. The attack arose from controversial comments that Abu Layth had made many months before regarding the plight of Palestinians living under Israeli rule, where he suggested that migrating out of the land may be a solution to save human lives, among other things, which we will discuss. These comments resurfaced and were highlighted in light of the recent war between Israel and Gaza. The assault on his home can be seen in an online video released by one of the mob members and allegedly posted to WhatsApp. In the video, the mob can be seen throwing rocks and then breaking into his home in the early hours of the morning. As the men entered the home, the mob can be heard yelling about how Abu Layth had disrespected Palestine. Abu Layth firmly identifies as a Palestine supporter. Even though his family was unhurt, this incident left his young daughter traumatized. This attack was reported to the West Midland Police, and the unit is investigating the situation.
Okay, I'm gonna play the video this time with audio, just so you guys see how intense the whole situation was. So basically, the summary is that this guy, he's pro-Palestine, anti-Israel. However, he's like a reformist mufti, and his takes are a lot different from most average mainstream Muslims, right? To say the least. I'm not going to go into details, but the things like he has said so many other things that has made especially these more conservative Muslims very angry. But this was like a red line for them when he said that the Palestinian cause is basically
we've lost. Israel won.
Yeah,
like,
Israel
give it up.
wins.
Now it's
Palestine
about saving human lives.
Yeah, let me just finish what I'm saying. Basically saying that the Palestinian, it's better just for the Palestinians to just leave Israel, right? To just leave and just go find home somewhere else. And that was like a major red line for people for these Muslims. Okay, and they attacked his house. So let's actually watch the video. Let me actually unmute. There we go. Let me know if you have audio, okay?
Yo, this is for the dirty dog Abu Layth who disrespect our brothers and sisters of Palestine. Yeah.
Wow.
Come on, mother. Come on, mother. Yo, where the Abu Layth? Where is Abu Layth? Where is Abu Layth? Where is Abu?
Anyways, yeah, that's kind of scary, especially if you have your family living there. Like he has 2 daughters. Imagine like aggressive men yelling like this, breaking stuff, coming at your house, and you have your children there.
Yeah, so my understanding is that he wasn't home then. It was just like his wife and at least one of his daughters.
Wow. That's even worse. I wish I was, imagine hearing about it and not even being there to defend them.
Yeah. Like really. Today there's a lot I could get into. I could talk about this alone for like an hour. So his comments, one thing that he said in particular, because I went to watch his comments right before this stream so that I could remember very specifically what he said. One thing that he said that really pissed people off the wrong way was the comments that were highlighted that led to this. He had actually made these comments months ago around the time that the UAE normalized relationships with Israel with the so-called Abraham Accords. And then they just came back and were surfaced, in light of the recent war. And I am calling it a war. So he used specific words when he was talking about admitting or claiming that Palestine was lost, that Israel's won. That itself is highly controversial. That itself is going to get massive backlash. And he was saying these things like very casually, which surprised me. And he also used the words exile, like Palestinians should be exiled from the West Bank, Gaza, historical Palestine, or what some people call Palestine 48. And it was this use of this word exile when I think he was intending to say exodus that really pissed off a lot of people. Because
honestly, I don't know if it matters. Like, a lot of people are trying to say, like, well, that's not what he meant. He meant this. They took him out of context. But to me, I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into this. All of this seems to me suggest that, well, if he actually meant those things that people say he did, that it somehow justifies this attack. Like, does it really matter?
Well,
I mean, does it really matter if he was like he even Mufti Abu Layth's apology, like, not apology, his video coming out and defending himself was like, I never said these things. I am pro-Palestine. I'm against Israel. People accuse me of not being a Muslim. I'm not a kafir. I'm not an unbeliever. I'm a Muslim. These people are misrepresenting me. I mean, like, dude, they attacked your house with your children and your wife and children there. Like, so even if those were your actual views, this is like not the point. Your views are not the point. They attacked your house, right? They attacked your house. I mean, what does it mean? Like, people are like, oh no, those are not his views. Wait, so you're saying that if those were his views, then these people would be a bit more justified to attack him, right? Or people say, like, even Mufti Abu Layth, he himself is like, I'm not a kafir, I'm a Muslim. And he said he did the shahada, like, after this attack, he came and said, like, here, he did the shahada to show
like
that he's a
3
Muslim.
times.
Yeah, and I'm like, what are you talking about? So wait, so you're saying that if these people are right and you're actually a murtad and you actually have left Islam, that would somehow make this attack more justified? So what? So they should attack us instead of you? Like, he's like, I'm not a kafir. Oh, okay. So the attack was not justified. These people should have attacked our houses because we are the kafirs. Like, I don't understand the defense. I mean, I'm not trying to, like, dismiss how much he's under stress and his family is under stress. All of this is, like, really bad. But can you focus on what the crime here is? The crime is not that they took you out of context. The crime is that they attacked you. Anyways, you have your hands up.
Well, you're kind of getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. I just wanted to lay out what his views are to the audience, but I'm completely on the same board with you and same attitude exactly, that, like, his views are irrelevant to this attack being something that should be completely condemned, but I just wanted to lay out for people who are unaware, like, what he said, where the controversy came in. What Armin is referring to is how after this attack happened, Mufti Abu Layth put out a video on his YouTube channel just titled, like, "They Invaded My Home," where he talks about this situation. And very, very early on in the video, he moves from, like, describing what happened, the effect it had on his family, to trying to clarify and justify his views. And, like Armin just highlighted, in ways that we interpreted as saying, like, because he talks about how it's his opinion that Israel is a terrorist state. I use that word for the YouTube algorithm. I'm sure you know what I mean. He lays out that I am a Muslim. He says the Shahada like 3 times in that video. And to an outsider like us, we were like, well, what if you did support Israel? Like, does that make this okay? And I mean, I kind of wanted to talk about some of the other really controversial things he said in a few videos about Israel and Palestine. Like, he talks about how Jerusalem isn't that holy or isn't that sacred to him. Like, Al-Aqsa Mosque, like, isn't that holy. It's like he basically was trying to say, we shouldn't die over this land. We shouldn't have our Muslim brothers and sisters die over this land, this bricks and mortar, when for us, like, Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem is the 3rd holiest site in Islam. Like, for Jews, it's the 1st holiest. Like, they're not going to treat it poorly. And he says this so casually. And the way that other people reacted to this was so strongly. And, like, because Armin and I watch a lot of people, including people who very, very strongly disagree with Mufti Abu Layth, refute him. And they were so upset by his inference that Al-Aqsa is not holy, is not what a super sacred site for Islam and should be defended. But before we get into what they would say, I thought his argument that they're not going to treat it like a toilet, to use his words, like they're going to take care of it, was a little ill-educated, because a lot of people, like, if you're not familiar, like the Wailing Wall is like part of it's like down here, and it's the last wall standing from the sacred temple, Jewish temple, and then like on top of this like kind of compound areas where Al-Aqsa Mosque is. Well, for super Orthodox Jewish people, like it is, and I'm not speaking for everyone, it is their intention that they will one day rebuild that temple. To do that, they're going to have to get rid of that mosque. So I feel like he didn't understand maybe that full context, but Armin, I feel like you would probably have some interesting comments about how out of touch, I guess, his attitude is in comparison to others.
I mean, yeah, Mufti Abu Layth's views on Islam are, I don't know what I don't know what his views are, but he's so out of touch with what mainstream Islam, like his interpretations on scripture and hadith in the Quran is so flexible that you could get the same interpretation out of green eggs and ham if you wanted to, if you were that flexible with how you could interpret the Quran and the hadith. Like he just has a conclusion in mind, and then he takes the Quran and hadith and he gets conclusions out of it that are so wacky. They're so wacky. They have nothing to do. And he calls himself a mufti. I mean, it's just the only way that his views can become somewhat popular is with attacks like this, right? Like, I mean, honestly, like there's no chance he's like, I don't know, his views are so out of touch with mainstream Islam, and there is no way that you could get this conclusions out of it. Like, the thing is that unfortunately, like when the Salafi Muslims, when they come and show Muslims how he's wrong about Islam and about scripture, I mean, they're right, to be honest. Like, it's so obvious that they're right. Let me just, yeah. So I don't know, but again, I don't know if none of this is just, I shouldn't even say it because it's obvious. But yeah, to your point, when he said like, oh yeah, if Muslims leave Israel, they're going to be treating this whole area very nicely because it's their number one holy site, so don't worry about it. Like, no, it is their number one holy site, but the mosque and the Dome of the Rock is blocking the construction of their temple. So if there's no Palestinians there, they're just gonna go and tear apart the mosque and the Dome of the Rock so that they could finish building the temple. So just because it's their number one holy place, that doesn't mean they're gonna not destroy anything. Obviously, they don't want the mosque there. They don't want the Dome of the Rock. They don't want the Al-Aqsa Mosque and also the Dome of the Rock there. So they're gonna get rid of that. So I don't know, like how he's so out of touch with politics, he's so out of touch with Islam, and he's so out of touch with the Ummah. Like he doesn't even know. Like he sometimes, like when people react to his takes, like he says something, and I'm like, oof, that is gonna get a reaction, and then he gets a reaction, not this kind of reaction. Like obviously this is not to be expected, but like even when people get offended, he comes and he's like, he gets shocked that people are offended. And like, how out of touch do you have to be with the Muslim community not to know that this is not going to get a reaction? This is why here's Mufti Abu Layth. Let me tell you, when you came out and said that maybe, like when the video came to surface, that Muslims were reviewing the fact that you're saying Palestinians have to leave Israel, I knew that this is going to get a reaction more than usual, and I suspected that this reaction is going to be so strong that these people that are pointing out how bad your take is, they will probably have to remove the video because of the consequences of the videos that they put up. So I downloaded those videos, right? This is how much I'm in touch with the Muslim community, Mufti Abu Layth. And they did take down those videos. They attacked your house and then they eventually had to take down those videos. So I'm here for you. If you ever want to get, like, maybe understand the Muslim community a little bit better, I, as an ex-Muslim atheist, can teach you a little bit more about the Muslim community and what to expect, because you seem to be completely out of touch, right? And also, you need better security at your house. Like, seriously, one thing I suggest is one of those security bars on the windows. Like, like, you live in Europe's Pakistan right now, right? You are in Birmingham and you have the wildest take. That's not a safe area for you to, like, when I saw people just walk up to your house and the windows are so easily accessible, I like, what are you doing, man? Like, you don't know, like, do you know where you live? And have you not seen your takes? Like, you need to go on Amazon.uk or something, or I don't know, go somewhere, and you need to get one of those bars that you install on the windows, the metal bars, right? And you need to fortify your doors. Like, that was so easy to get into your house. How could you not, like, like, for the sake of your family, man, do have better security in your house? I hope you have, like, CCTV and everything everywhere in your house as well. Like, I hope, like, I don't know, like, I hope
They
you
will
have, like,
now. They will now.
mean, if you didn't by now, that's a very irresponsible. Given given your takes and given where you live, if you don't have that kind of security at your house, it's very irresponsible to your family. Like, you better, like, I hope you already had that and you have footage right now to share with the police. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that reminds me. I think that's one thing when this happened, it shocked me. And we were talking to Ali Rizvi about this, and he was like, I can only imagine this happening. Maybe not only, but like, this makes sense to me that this happened in England. You know, like, I can't imagine something like this happening in the United States. I would think they would be highly unlikely. We don't really have that kind of attitude here. Like, but this happening in the UK, it seems on par, or even in Western Europe. Like, there's just this difference in culture where there's this real intensity to it that is shocking. Like, watching the video, my heart just sank. Like, it's everyone's worst nightmare. And just to hear, like, these women or girls screaming in the background, it's horrifying. So, yeah, even though, you know, Armin and I personally disagree with some of the ways that Mufti Abu Layth maybe came out and, like, explained himself, so to speak, after this happened, or the way that it happened, obviously, like, we're horrified for him. We want the best for him. And healing for his children. When Hara Sultan made the video about it and showed pictures of his daughter, like, I almost cried. Makes me so upset.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you it's easy to make you cry.
I mean, yes, but you didn't have to do that to me.
I know I didn't have to. That's what makes it even better. All right. Anyways, Mufti, if you ever want to, Mufti Abu Layth, if you ever want to talk to us, or if you're scared of me because, you know, you can't, you know, maybe have Susanna on. Yeah.
I'm very friendly.
Yeah, Susanna is more friendly than me. All right, cool. Can we clap for the next news?
It's controversial. Let's just clap and we'll walk through it. Okay, next news. Circumcision could be banned by anti-transgender Alabama bill. So this is one of those instances where I think I said in the group chat to the team something along the lines of like, when you're so wrong that you're accidentally right. Like you did a whoopsies. Because you did something that AGA saying so many mixed feelings on this one. So you did something that I completely oppose, but it may accidentally lead to something that I support. I wish it. So we're just going to treat this a little bit more humorously.
Okay, tell us what happened. I don't even know what happened.
Okay.
First, yeah.
In March 2021, the state Senate of Alabama sponsored a bill sponsored by Republican Senator Shay Shelnut, voted to criminalize gender-affirming treatment for transgender youth. Based on the Alabama chapter of the American Academy of Pediatrics, the bill could also unintentionally outlaw routine infant male circumcisions. Executive Director Linda Lee said that members became concerned about the language regarding, quote, removing any healthy or non-diseased body part or tissue, end quote, under the list of prevented treatments. Executive Director of Shabbat of Alabama, Rabbi Yossi Friedman, said that the ritual circumcision is one of the oldest Jewish traditions. He also added that he would go to jail because the law cannot stop him from practicing Judaism. Friedman expressed the concerns about the medical treatment of transgender youth should be addressed outside the legal system.
Wait, so I'm confused. What was the original intent?
So the original intent is that you cannot, what we would call gender-affirming care or health care, you cannot help minors transition their gender or their gender expression medically.
Okay.
And the specific language that is used, and this would be regarding most likely like double mastectomy for people who are like trans male, trans men, saying it has language saying that you cannot remove any healthy or non-diseased body part or tissue from a minor. Well, foreskin of an infant, except in, more rare circumstances, are healthy and non-diseased body parts or tissues.
Yeah, I actually support this because here's the thing. But you know what? This might be actually a sneaky way to get, because here's the thing. Because transgender, like when it comes to minors, right? They don't, right now, the solution to that, right, is not what experts propose, is not transitioning, but it's just hormone blockers so that they get to choose to transition as adults without going through puberty, right? So they get puberty blockers, right?
This criminalizes
puberty blockers as well?
Yeah.
No, you just said removing healthy tissue and stuff like that.
That pertains to the circumcision part. The overall ban on gender affirming healthcare for transgender youth contains a multitude of things.
Oh, this is against puberty blockers as well?
Yes.
Okay, so
but there's a part of the legislation that could be interpreted to also ban circumcision. Because it's not specified clearly enough.
Okay. So I don't support this. However, this could give us an idea. Okay, you could sneak in an anti-circumcision bill by pretending that it's something else, right? So you could just be like, we're against removing healthy tissues from minors, right? That should be a bill. Just that, okay? That won't ban puberty blockers, right? But then you could sell it to people as like, we're not gonna let them chop off our little kids and stuff, blah blah blah, right? And be like, yes, this is good. The liberals are going the leftists are going crazy. They're doing things to our kids that shouldn't be allowed. But then once it gets passed, well, I mean, removing healthy tissues wasn't part of the solution for transgender kids anyways. It's puberty blockers. So it was actually an anti-circumcision bill in disguise. That shit. It was an anti-circumcision bill in disguise, but it was sold as if it was an anti-transgender, stuff. What do you think?
Well, I think using that rhetoric to whip up that sentiment is a horrible idea that will adversely affect the transgender community.
I know I'm not being actually like 100% serious, like, but I'm just saying.
Not 100%. There is some percent.
The surgery is part. Okay, so Katie is saying the surgery is.
It was anti-circumcision all along.
No, then you have to have the mean. It always has been. Like, we shouldn't mean I know. Okay, don't do this, but here's my suggestion. Don't actually do this in real practice, but make a movie out of what I said, okay? Don't make it the law, but make it a movie, okay? I think it's funny. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, at least what we could get out of this is pointing out, like, the hypocrisy, okay? So this shouldn't get passed because it's also against hormone blockers. So that's bad. But it should be used. Anyways, I'm hearing echo. It should be used as a way to point to hypocrisy, where people say, like, don't do this to children. Oh, children, our children. And we have normalized the most barbaric, practice, torturing children's genitals, boys especially genitals. That has become the most normalized things, right? Normalized thing in across the world. Like, people don't even. This is so barbaric, so disgusting, so inhumane, such a big human rights violation, where we are actually torturing babies, defenseless babies, all across the world, and people don't see how much worse that is compared to, like, hormone blockers. What the hell? Like, like, how do you not see this? If you want to defend children, then stop circumcision. Like, think about how much these people would be panicking if circumcision was not the norm, and all of a sudden people were coming out and suggesting, like, hey, our ideology thinks that we have to go chop at the genitals as soon as the kids are born. The entire world will go mad and, like, have a response to, like, the response to this would be, like, anybody suggesting that this should be allowed, it would be a political suicide for them, right? Nobody would ever, like, but this has become such a norm that nobody even questions it. I mean, not nobody, but so many people don't even question it. Yeah, compare this, right? So first of all, people who don't understand, say, like, people who say that we shouldn't give puberty blockers to children because they don't get to choose. They don't understand that we give puberty blockers to children exactly because they don't get to choose, right? Because you want to delay, because nature is going to force puberty on them before they get to decide that, hey, I'm actually trans, I shouldn't have gone through puberty, and you want to delay that process so when, as an adult, they could make a choice. Exactly. That's the whole point. Because they're children and they can't make a choice, you're delaying the process so that they could make the decision as an adult. That's the whole point of of puberty blockers. And then also, when people say, like, oh, no medical decisions should be made on children, first of all, medical decisions is made on children all the time. I don't, like, children that have psychological issues, they are, like, that has nothing to do with gender dysphoria. They're constantly, like, adults make decisions for them and they put them under medication on so many other things. I don't understand why this is different, right? And some people say, no, well, this is like a cosmetic thing. Those are actually health concern things. First of all, it's not. Gender dysphoria is a legitimate medical condition that needs to be treated. And so, first that. Second of all, even if it was cosmetic, like we still make decisions for children on cosmetic issues. It's not just cosmetic, but imagine like a children that has deformed face, like her, like let's say a child that is born that her lips are like, I don't know,
cleft palate.
yeah, exactly. They don't wait for them to become adults to fix that for them. They make those medical decisions, even if it's purely cosmetic. They know that being growing up like that is going to have a major psychological impacts on them. So adults do make decisions for children like that to fix that for them. The medical decisions that should be stopped, that has no benefit for 99% of the babies, well, even more actually, and it's absolutely painful, and it's actually should be a crime, and it's one of the greatest human rights violation of our time, is circumcision. All the reasons why these people think that they're against treating children that might have gender dysphoria, all these arguments actually should, if they actually consistent about it, and if they want to save children, it does apply to circumcision. And this is a great way to highlight that. Anyways.
No, that was a very good point, actually. And there was the language that I mentioned earlier about, quote, removing any healthy or non-diseased part of our body part or tissue. And then there's another section of the bill that prohibits a list of treatments if performed to, quote, alter the appearance of or affirm the minor's perception of his or her sex. So clearly, circumcision alters the appearance of someone's sex, like their physical sexual genitals. So it's so. I hope this raises into one of the problems I have is that as soon as people started to bring this to the attention of legislators, they're like, "Oh, we're going to basically change the language a little bit." But apparently, like, they already changed it, and it didn't fully fix the problem of potentially outlawing circumcision. But I just wanted to touch on this rabbi for a second, who was just like so hardcore about this, because they were asked, like, okay, if this law was passed, what would happen? He says, I'm going to go to jail. That's what's going to happen, because I'm not going to stop practicing my Judaism. Like, I can't believe being that committed.
I'm okay with that. He said, I'm okay with that guy. He says he's willing to go to jail. Yeah, make it illegal and go to jail. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, I'm completely support him.
I'm just talking about his mentality, though.
I know.
Being that committed to mutilating infant
I think
boy
we should
penises.
just arrest a man and put him to jail before he does it, because he clearly is saying that he's going to do it. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, one day the whole world is going to look back, and the fact that we mutilated so many babies, they're going to look back in horror and wonder why people just let it happen. It
just makes me so frustrated, because he's talking about, like, the loss of all these children being raised without their, religious or traditional practices. Like, some traditional practices should be abolished, point blank. I don't care what culture you come from. Like, I was watching this video of some tribe in Africa where they would weave these baskets around these babies' heads so that their heads become shaped a certain way. And I was watching this baby sob, crying in so much pain while his mom is weaving this basket, completely constricting its skull. And, like, it was outlawed by Belgium. And obviously Belgium did horrible things in the region. But this was like an Afrocentric YouTube channel, and even people in the YouTube comments were like, I'm super glad that was banned. Like, this is horrific. Like, the baby literally passes out from how much pain they're in. Like, we don't need all these traditions. Like,
but here's an interesting thing. How is it that most people see that should be banned? But if you do that to a kid's head, people are like, whoa, oh my God, look at these Africans being so barbaric. But us American, we're doing it to the kids' genitals, and that's somehow not barbaric. If you like, these are Africa, you're like, what? You're worse. You're worse. You're worse than that. How do you not see that? You're like, oh, let's ban that. Okay. How do you not do that? Oh God. How do you not see that what you're doing to your own kids in America, in these advanced countries, is worse than what the Africans are doing to their kids' heads? I don't know. How is this not obvious? It's amazing. By the way, I just want to ask, I put this on dark mode. Is this better, or like, which one is better? This one or this one? People, tell me.
I'll let the live chat decide because I'm
Live
dark
chat can
mode.
decide.
I'm hashtag dark mode all day.
Okay, Katie
Katie is saying, imagine if there were still practicing Aztecs today who wanted to behead people and roll the head down the pyramid stairs, saying it is their tradition. Or Hindus still practice sati. For those who don't know, that's basically like setting a woman on fire. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can guarantee that there are people who are like hardcore cultural relativists who would be like, yeah, we got to let them do that. Who are we?
Gregory.
Oh, Gregory is saying the American medical field is incinerating their reputation on maintaining the continued legal status of circumcision. Yeah, and a woman in this article who is part of the American Academy of Pediatrics like maintained. Oh yeah, the American Academy of Pediatrics said that the benefits of circumcision outweigh the risks. What? Yeah.
No, we have this, the science on this is pretty clear. There's very few cases where it makes sense to do this. Just do it for them only.
Yeah, but coming from the American Academy of Pediatrics, that's like the professional board of that field. Like that horrified me. I really hope that there are people who are lobbying.
Politics is involved where the entire
yeah.
world disagrees with your country's takes. You know what I mean? Like the entire professional. Anyways.
And it looks like the live chat has voted for dark mode.
Yes.
Music guy saying dark like my soul, Armin. Okay.
Okay. All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Next
news. Human rights. Oh, sorry. Next news. Full-blown boycott pushed for the Beijing 2022 Olympics. Yay. So, human rights groups have called for a full boycott of the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing due to China's human rights abuses against ethnic and religious minorities. China has been under constant scrutiny by the international community for its reputation of repression of Tibetans, tensions in Hong Kong, and the ongoing Uyghur genocide, which the ruling party vehemently denies. The Winter Olympics are scheduled to begin on February 4th, 2022. Ladon Tathong of the Tibet Action Institute said in an interview with the Associated Press that, quote, the time for talking with the International Olympic Committee, or IOC, is over, and highlighted that in response to objections to the previous Olympics in China held in 2008, the IOC said that hosting the event would help improve human rights in the country. Several activist groups have called on the Winter Olympics to be set somewhere other than China. Tathong recommended that activists lobby the IOC's top sponsors, who generate about 40% of all IOC revenue.
What are you views? Oh, what does Pelosi got to do with this?
She was calling for a boycott as well.
Wow. What happened to the Trump supporters telling us that this administration, the Democrats, are going to be soft on China? Look, this is Pelosi calls for a boycott of the Beijing Winter Olympics, which means the boycott has bipartisan consensus. This is a tight slap on the face of CCP, slap on the CCP face indeed. Yeah, what happened? Like Biden keeps on becoming more and more aggressive on CCP. I was told that the Democrats are a puppet of the CCP. I don't know what's going on, Suze. What's going on, Suze? What happened to all this people like, wait, Armin, you'll see. Beijing Biden is going to bend over backwards for the CCP. Like, I don't see it. Do you see it? Maybe it'll happen.
Well, I mean, they would maybe say like it's all talk. We want action. So I think that's how they would reply. But I thought that this was very interesting to highlight. Now, this is something I personally fully support. A boycott of the Olympics in Beijing. I think it's a really complicated issue. So the International Olympics Committee, or IOC, like when they've been faced with really heavy criticism for this, but they respond that like we're not a governing party, like we don't, or we're not a political organization. We're not a political party. Like they were basically saying we're a sports organization.
Bull crap. Olympics is all about politics, and it's about the image of a country. It's the entire reason why countries fund their Olympics teams is because of the marketing and the branding of their country. Okay, it's about representing what the country stands for and all its values and all that stuff. This is complete, and especially China. From all the countries in the world, like when it comes to private institutions, so-called private institutions being PR departments for the government, China is the country that you see that the most, even the most, so-called independent organizations and private institutions, their number one mission 2 is to make profit. Mission 1 is to promote the glory of the CCP. Okay, that's mission 1. If you're an entity in China, I don't care if you're a government institution or not. Mission 1 is to promote the CCP. Okay, assume that unless proven otherwise. Okay.
Well,
no, this is right.
I think I don't know how many people like remember the 2008 Olympics, but I remember that very strongly. I mean, I was pretty young, but the opening ceremony, like where they had, because it happened in 2008, they had like 2008 drummers in this field perfectly in sync with each other, and a lot of the opening ceremony to me, and this is true for like many countries, but I felt as a child like the certain aspects of this opening ceremony were to show like the united strength of China. And I think that this activist who the Associated Press was interviewing about this issue from the Tibet Action Institute, or something like that, the point that she made that was so good was that this is what they said last time. In 2008, over 10 years ago, the Olympic Committee argued that, no, we should, because there were still major protests back then, because especially the issue with Tibet has been ongoing for decades, right? So they argued, oh, well, us holding the Olympics in Beijing will actually help with China's human rights record. It'll encourage them to be better about their human rights, to encourage probably more like trade. I don't know the full argument, but they did argue that it would make the situation better. And this activist in response was saying, literally, it's only gotten so much worse in China since 2008.
Yeah.
It's gotten so much worse. So like, what's your excuse now? That's not a good justification any longer. Now, this is kind of a criticism, but kind of not. Personally, I don't think that I think it's a good thing to lobby for. It's a good thing to lobby for. Holding the Olympics in a different country. Okay, like don't hold them in China. I think that's a good thing to lobby for. I don't think that's something that's going to happen. Billions of dollars go into this, right? Like, where are they suddenly, like, unless they maybe go to a previous country where they held Winter Olympics, it takes years to plan for the Olympics happening in your country, in your city, so much infrastructure. Like, where are they going to shift it to in the span of 1 year? I feel like that's not going to happen. Now, however, as an activist, I don't think that that's a bad thing to lobby for. You want to lobby for as much as you can possibly get, right? You want to lobby hard. You're not going to settle for less. Do I think it's likely that they're going to be held elsewhere? No. But I think it is something worthwhile to fight for, because you'll probably win other successions. Successions? Yeah, I think that's what I mean. Along the way. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's a very good point. I want to also, before we move to the next news, ask you, what do you think about the fact that, I actually don't know if it's a fact, but the boycotts against Israel's government for the way they treat the Palestinians have been a lot more successful than boycotts against China on the way that they treat their Muslim population. Like, if I mean, maybe it's because the movement hasn't. A lot of people are like, oh, China, these boycotts will not have an impact. It doesn't matter. I don't think that is true. I mean, just because it's not a binary thing. Like, people think like, if you don't completely defeat China or some Chinese government or something like that, that means that your boycotts did not work. But there's a lot of studies and analysis that shows that it's not these movements or these campaigns or the boycotts. It's not an all or none thing. It's not like if it doesn't completely stop the human rights violation, it didn't have an impact. We have seen so many times, like even with countries like Saudi Arabia or Iran, we have seen boycotts or campaigns had somewhat an influence, that it reduced the violations, even though it didn't stop them. They do have an impact, especially because these countries, people think like they don't care about their image. They're going to do what they're going to do. These countries spend so much money on promoting their image around the world. They absolutely care about their image. A country like the CCP is so sensitive. They get so triggered when they are when they claim they've been misrepresented. They are like, they're crybabies whenever somebody says something negative about them. Like they throw it, temper tantrum every time. Like, you can see them. They very much cared about their image. They spend millions of dollars trying to promote their image, and campaigns like this or boycotts targets that, and it might have some influence in their behavior. I'm not saying it's gonna China's gonna be like, okay, fine, let's close all the concentration camps tomorrow because of the boycott. No, that's not what I'm saying. But it does have an influence. Again, don't think so black and white. It's not binary. It might have an impact, especially given that these boycotts might when they start, they usually are not that big of a deal, but over the years, as it might gain momentum, right? But what do you think? Why do you think like that? So, even within the Muslim community, I'm not saying some Muslims are not paying attention to what China is doing, but the reactions to Israel's treatment of Muslims is a lot stronger than what China's treatments of Muslims. Even though China's treatment of Muslims is astronomically, I mean, I'm not excusing human rights violations that is happening against like Palestinians or stuff like that, but again, compared, like, what China is doing is astronomically worse, both in scale and in numbers and in the violations. It's like it's the closest thing we have to going back to what I'm not even going to mention it because
World War II.
Yeah, World
War
II.
What horrified people about World War II?
Yeah, well, I'm not saying it's that. Obviously, nothing we've ever seen that gets.
But it's the closest we've seen.
It's the closest we've become to what happened before that point. Okay, again, I hope people.
It's the closest, and the technological advances that go into it are higher than we have ever seen. The surveillance that goes into it is higher than anything we've seen. Well, what you were saying about actions against, like, say, Israel versus China, I think I don't know any data about the BDS movement. So for those who aren't familiar, it stands for boycott, divest, and sanction. It's primarily or maybe entirely focused on targeting Israel with boycotts, divestments, and sanctions for the treatments of Palestinians and that ongoing conflict. That movement has been going for a long time. Like, I don't even know how long. Granted, I'm pretty young, but as long as I've been aware of the conflict, BDS has been a thing. So in terms of how successful that is, I don't know. There almost certainly is data on that. I would have to look into that. But my understanding is that people just aren't as aware of the situation in Xinjiang with the Uyghurs and also Kazakhs, just treatment of ethnic minorities, the surveillance state there. And I think the awareness of that is continuing to grow. I see a lot more big, like, leftist YouTubers talking about it more. I think it's starting to really come into awareness. And this situation in Xinjiang has been going on for years itself already, like a long time, but now it's building awareness. So it'd be interesting to see if it garners as much attention and emotional salience, I would say, as the Israel-Palestine situation. So one thing that I thought that you were talking about, I think it was on the Ask Us Anything that you did for secular jihadists yesterday, where you were saying a lot of what goes into that conflict is that your stance on Israel-Palestine has become a signal of your in-group or out-group, depending on what you stand. And your passion for it is a good way of displaying your commitment to your in-group or out-group. And that's a lot of what goes into the fervor of people's politics regarding that conflict, and also the urgency of the action that they take. I thought that was very insightful. And I'll be interested to see if that evolves with the situation in Xinjiang. Because although it can be very divisive, it certainly calls a lot of attention to things, and it can get things done more quickly because there's more people showing outrage about it. I hope that the situation in Xinjiang doesn't become too partisan, because I know a lot of right-wingers kind of just use any tool they have against China, whether or not they actually, I don't know, probably don't care too much about the treatment of, Muslims. So yeah, I hope that it doesn't become a super partisan Democrat-Republican thing, because that will be damaging to the people of that region.
I actually agree with Adam here as well. I say Adam is saying I'm not supporting BDS. BDSM is cool though. Agreed. First part. Agreed with second part as well. But still think anti-boycott laws are BS. Yeah, I agree with all three of them. Again, the only reason why I don't support the BDS is because I need to do more research.
Me too.
But people I trust have said that it's very much tied to anti-Semitic movements, right? This might be not true, but so I would need to do some more research. So, but until I know for sure that it's not, I would not be willing to support anything like that myself personally. Because I think it's very likely that is true. BDSM though is not anti-Semitic at all, obviously. So that's cool. And but yeah, but even
thank goodness we clarified the BDSM wasn't anti-Semitic. I wish Rivka was here. She would have some zingers for that.
Yes. But yes, but yeah, even if I personally don't support it, I think it's insane how so many people are making it illegal. Like, making boycotts illegal and like
Yeah, that's a free speech issue as well.
Yeah, and especially in the United States, which is supposed to be the center of free speech in the whole world, the fact that they're passing laws against it is insane.
Yeah, like I follow a lot of Palestinian activists, and I don't agree with everything, but that's one thing that I thought was completely insane. But Rabid Atheist has a very good point. He's saying we are far too economically connected to China for a boycott to work, but it does draw attention to the issue. Yeah, so our governments are obviously way too tightly connected. I think as a consumer, you can make or try to make as best decisions as possible. However, I mean, so much comes out of China. It's very difficult, so it would have to be on a consumer level, definitely. And it's one thing to boycott something in silence, but I feel like it works best if you're doing it publicly, so you're continuing to draw attention to it. Because if you just are personally making that decision, like it's not going to make much of a difference. You need to garner more grassroots mass action of consumer behavior.
Okay, we should go to the next news.
Yes.
We can't clap for the next news.
No, definitely not.
Right. Next news.
Next news. Muslim gym trainer lynched in India, forced to chant Jai Shree Ram. So, Asif Khan, a Muslim gym trainer from Mewat in Haryana, was lynched to death on May 16th by Hindu vigilante groups. Maktub Media said in its report that the Hindu mob was forcing Asif to chant Jai Shree Ram, a prayer turned war cry by the Hindu nationalist militants. Khan's family stated that Asif was traveling with his friends from his home village of Halipur to Sonat to get medicine when 30 people attacked him. Asif's uncle told the media that during the attack, the mob was screaming, "Ooh, I don't know if I can say this on YouTube."
I shouldn't scroll down. It actually gets really ugly, the imagery.
They were screaming KILL Muslims.
Wow.
According to the family, the Haryana police have filed a report against the perpetrators, but no arrests have been made so far. Or as of the 17th when this was published.
So, for people who don't know, Jai Shree Ram is the Allahu Akbar of the Hindus. Basically means Allahu Akbar in Hindu. Literally translates to, thank you, Katie. She's victory to Lord Ram. Ram is one of Hindu gods. Wait, hold on. Let me think. It's I know it's a reincarnation of Vishnu, but let me remember which number 8 reincarnation of Vishnu. Am I right? Lord Ram, number 8 reincarnation of Vishnu.
Ex-Hindus, let us know. Did he get it right?
Hinduism, ex-Hindus. Yeah. Krishna is the 9th, and Modi is number 10. No, wait, 7. 7. 9 is Buddha. I screwed up. Okay, 7 is Ram. 8 is Krishna. 9 is Buddha, and 10 is Modi. 10 is I know, but I'm joking when I'm saying 10 is Kalki, but Kalki is Modi.
Some niche Hinduism jokes.
But okay, yeah, Jai Shri Ram. But yeah, I mean, I don't. You know how we get some Hindus who, when every time we criticize Hinduism, they come and in the live chat and say, "Well, Armin, at least we don't behead people, right?" And
right.
Yeah. And we were like, "Oh my God, you guys are not violent. Here's a cookie." That means like we don't get to criticize your ideas because you don't do these things. Okay, here's a cookie for you. Here's a cookie for you. We should stop giving out those cookies, right? Because it's actually dishonest to say that Hinduism is not used for violence, right? It's
absurd.
It's like it's absurd. Yeah.
Like forcing a man to say something which is like not only a major sin in his religion, the most serious sin in his religion, to like praise another god. You literally can't like force a Muslim to do anything worse according to Islam. Like, I think people need to be aware of how much anti-Muslim bigotry like exists in the world. Like, I think this is, I guess, maybe personal criticism of some of our audience. Like, they come from a Muslim background. Maybe they're still living in a Muslim country. So they have a lot of resentment and don't have as much sympathy towards these events, you know? And it really disappoints me. And it makes me really upset because just because you are abused by Muslims, like wherever you are, that doesn't mean that other Muslims in other places in the world aren't horrifically abused. And your poor treatment doesn't in any way justify what happens to these other people. Like, it's heartbreaking. And some people are so angry and bitter, and for many reasons that I completely understand, but we need to have a lot of sympathy for the people who are completely persecuted.
Read what Harshit is
I don't know if I'm making sense.
No,
Harshit is saying the problem is not just forcing the change. Even if they say it, the goons would just claim they are being insincere.
Silva saying, I'm super happy that the BGP got their asses kicked by... Oh, yeah, actually, we
in
should
West
have covered
Bengal, Tamil
that.
Nadu, and Kerala.
We should have covered that. Okay,
I was thinking about it, but it seemed too geopolitical.
Right.
Less religion.
I don't understand this one. Oh,
yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, here's another one.
Oh, Harshit's just repeating himself. Yeah, the problem is not just forcing the chant.
Yeah.
Even if they say it, the goons would be. Katie is saying the Maratha Empire Hindus committed one of the largest massacres in Indian history in Bengal. Whoa, 400,000. And then in the Afghan Durrani Empire. Oh, but this is interesting. Wait, this is a good comment from Shuvo that I want to highlight because it kind of comes off of my point. I have the hardest time talking about how Muslims are treated in India with my Hindu relatives because the first thing they say is, look at what they do to us in Bangladesh and Pakistan.
Right. See, this is your mind on collectivism. Guys, I hope like people understand that when we say like, okay, like bring back Katie's comment, okay? This does, okay, hold on. Let me actually just go like this. This, what Katie is saying, okay? I hope nobody thinks that we or Katie or Susanna are trying to hold Hindus responsible for stuff like this, right? No, like we're not blaming Hindus. You know, we are just saying Hinduism as an ideology can be used for violence, but we're not like this is not. None of this, even no matter how bad the numbers are, should ever be used as an excuse to hold Hindus responsible for crimes like this. Hindus are not responsible for the crimes like this. Only the people who did these things are responsible for crimes like this, right? If you have the mindset of like, oh my God, look what Hindus are doing, this means that Hindus are bad. Well, that way of thinking is exactly what people like this are using to attack Muslims, right? Because they're attacking innocent Muslims because they're holding Muslims collectively responsible for what other Muslims did to Hindus, right? Because guess what? Hindus are the number one non-Muslim victims of Islam. The number of Hindus that died under Islamic ruling is higher than any other group of people. So much so that the name mountains out of it. The Hindu Kush. Hindu Kush means like killing Hindus. That's what it means, right? That's how it's like the numbers are astronomical, right? So we don't want to comments. Like, I hope nobody, like, we have to be careful because people don't sometimes know what we mean. Like, if we like, oh my God, look at these numbers, look at the level of crimes that Hindus are committing on Muslims in India. I hope nobody goes away. Like, I don't know what to do to make sure that people don't get this message, to go away thinking like, oh my God, Hindus are oppressive to Muslims. No, not Hindus, just only these people. That if you
And how
think
they-
like that,
And how
if
they
you think like
weaponize
that-
their religion.
yeah, and the religion. But if you think like that, if you all of a sudden want to like hate on Hindus as a whole because of this, well, that again, I know I already said this, but I want to say it again. That exactly the mindset that makes them feel justified to attack Muslims, because they also have many examples of Muslims attacking their community. Right? This Muslim that was lynched, he had nothing to do with all the Hindus that died after this guy. Had nothing to do with all the Muslims that committed crimes against Hindus, but he's paying the price for it because of guilt by association, right? So if you're against this, then don't again be mindful not to promote the same thing but on Hindus, right? Because that's what some Muslims think. Like, that's how some Muslims think. Like they're justified to attack Hindus because, like, well, I have thousands of, like, not thousands, hundreds of years of worth of history to show you why Hindus attacked us, and this will make it justified. Blah 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 blah. Again, this is your mind on collectivism. This is your mind on religion. This is your mind on tribalism, and this is your mind when you believe in guilt by association. Okay. This is why individualism is the way, okay? Judge every individuals based on their own actions, and even if you judge them based on their own actions, still something like this is never justified, no matter what the crime is, okay?
I want to highlight this comment from Michael Sherlock because it was speaking to what I was talking about in terms of certain attitudes. Michael Sherlock is saying many ex-Muslims have suffered severe trauma, which is why their criticisms of the ideology of Islam are so fierce. Yes, but I was talking about Muslims, not Islam. However, most ex-Muslims I know do not subscribe to an irrational caricature of Muslims because they actually have Muslim friends and family, so they understand how horrible anti-Muslim bigotry is. And many ex-Muslims still suffer from anti-Muslim bigotry. That is particularly true in the West in terms of still suffering from anti-Muslim bigotry. However, this is not always the case. Like, I hate to say it, I've seen ex-Muslims who are basically sympathetic to what's happening in China and Xinjiang to the Uyghurs. Like, and I know that it comes from a place of trauma that probably hasn't been dealt with, but we can't shy away from the fact that there are ex-Muslims who do demonize Muslims. They do exist. This is, and it's some of the things I see, I'm shocked by, you know? So I want to call it out and I want to talk about it because it's just as dangerous and it upsets me. But yes, I'm curious, Armin, if you had any comments on my thoughts about that flavor of attitude that I've detected among certain, not all ex-Muslims.
Yes. So yeah, and again, the trauma that ex-Muslims have gone through should be used as an explanation for why some of them have anti-Muslim bigoted views, but not as an excuse. There's a difference between explaining something and excusing something. And again, that's a very fine line because, because if you don't understand that, then, I mean, the worst radical views on the planet, you could see how some of the crazies and far right or Islamists or bigots, you could see the path that got them there and you could explain it, but you always have to be clear explaining it. That doesn't mean that it's okay, that it's justified, or that you're excusing it, right? You're just trying to explain it just so that you could see if you could prevent it in other people. but you also have to clarify every time if you're explaining it, because people might seem like that you're excusing it. There is no excuse for such views, right?
And I think it's interesting. This is a pattern I've noticed, that this kind of attitude, in my anecdotal experience, tends to appear in people who have not been able to actually be free in their life, in their lifestyle, maybe where they live, from Islam. Like, they're not actually able to just be free and like leave that behind, so to speak. Like, it's actively part of their life that they're continuing to be persecuted, like, more viciously than someone who left Islam in America, you know? So I factor that in to a lot of what's driving these attitudes.
We have had people, ex-Muslims in our own community here, that have some that like we like loved and adored, and we celebrated as my valuable and then in private, all of a sudden they sent us messages about their views on Muslims that me and Susanna were like, and we were like, we know that they had such traumatic bad experiences, so it's really hard for them to like us to show them why they are wrong. But I'm so glad like some of these ex-Muslims are not in a position of authority or decision making. Some of them, I mean, oof, like god damn, some of these ex-Muslims. So here's the thing. So you think, like, again, hashtag not all, many of them are not like that. We're talking about ex-Muslims living in Islamic countries. Like, their entire family and friends and everything around them are Muslim, right? So most people they know are Muslims. And yet they have such crazy radical views about what they want to see happen to Muslims that it scares me. Like, it really scares me, right? So that is, again, it's not the majority of them, but it is common, and that's not a contradiction, right? It is not a majority, but it is common. Here, Katie is saying something.
Goddess Katie is saying the Hindufa is just helping Islam live longer. Muslims are becoming more tribal because they are being persecuted. Then Hindufa is using this tribalism to persecute them more. Yes, in fact, I know some ex-Muslims in India who don't really publicly identify as ex-Muslim because they know that they'll be basically used like as a political tool against their own community that they have a lot of affinity for, or because they're going to be persecuted as a Muslim either way. Like, as Armin and I are well aware from our run-in with Hindufa, if you guys don't know, the religion that you come from is actually in your blood. It's in your blood. And
don't joke about that. People might think we're serious.
Yeah, no, I'm completely joking because of some crazy accusations that we faced. Where it's just a characteristic. It's horrible. It's horrible bigotry.
Yeah. We need to move on to the next news, by the way. Sorry, I see some other comments that I need to highlight, but we do need to move on to the next.
Good.
Can we clap for the next news?
Let's just clap. No one.
Next news.
Next news.
No one here. No one died.
Well, we'll see. So next news: the U.S. Supreme Court to take up major abortion rights challenge. So this is, geez. I was watching a lot of videos about this morning, and I started to get stressed out. Okay. So on May 17th, the United States Supreme Court agreed to a showdown over abortion in a case that could dramatically change nearly 50 years of laws on abortion rights. A fundamental question in this case is about viability. Specifically whether a fetus can survive independently at 15 weeks. So this comes out of a law in Mississippi, which we will get into in a second. The only abortion clinic still operating in Mississippi conferred evidence that viability is impossible at 15 weeks. The appeals court said that the state admitted that it had no medical proof that a fetus would be viable at 15 weeks. Viability, or the point at which babies are more likely to survive outside of the womb, occurs at approximately 24 weeks of pregnancy. But the state of Mississippi claims that viability is an arbitrary standard that doesn't take sufficient account of the state's interest in regulating abortion. The Mississippi law would grant exceptions to the 15-week ban in the case of medical emergencies or critical fetal abnormality. Doctors violating the ban would face compulsory suspension of their license. So before we get into this, I want to set the stage a little bit. So in 2018, and again, law and legal stuff confuses me. So if I say something wrong and you want to correct me, just please let me know. My understanding is that in 2018, Mississippi passed this law that abortions after 15 weeks of pregnancy or past conception would be banned and illegal. So currently there is only one clinic in the entirety of Mississippi that actually performs abortions. And if you look at this building, it is fortified. Like, it is, the way that it's fortified lets you know how serious of an issue it is. It's a little castle, which makes me so scared, because that shows you how dangerous this is there. Anyways, so they passed this law, and this law was blocked by lower courts because it is in blatant violation of the precedents set by Roe v. Wade in the 1970s and Casey versus Planned Parenthood in the 1990s, where basically our standard of abortion law in America is that you cannot get an abortion when the fetus could survive outside of the mother. Well, Mississippi banned Marcia saying viability with support or without support. That's not entirely clear to me, just to be honest. So they put this ban, which is unconstitutional according to the precedent set by the Supreme Court. And it has been going through the lower courts, which have predominantly maintained the decision of Roe v. Wade and Casey versus Planned Parenthood, until it got to the Supreme Court level. And the Supreme Court actually did agree to hear this case. Now, a lot of analysts I were watching who are talking about this were saying that this legislation was specifically designed to go up against Roe v. Wade. For those who are unaware, that's the landmark case that basically made abortion federally recognized, legal across the country. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so they were shocked that they decided to hear this case in the first place because it so blatantly goes against precedent. And they were talking about how this bill was designed to challenge Roe v. Wade, to get it up to this level. There are so many different things that go into this. I mean, there's the level of the fact that we are going to have 3 of the Trump-appointed judges ruling on this case. We now have a conservative majority in the Supreme Court when this is coming up. So this won't be heard until next term, which I believe begins in October. And it won't likely the oral arguments probably won't begin until the spring of next year. But this is going to be a huge problem because it completely changes our understanding of when abortions are okay. And my understanding is that it would not completely remove Roe v. Wade, but it would change a lot of things on the state level. So there would no longer be this, and guys, I'm not a lawyer. This kind of stuff confuses me. There would not be the same federal level of protection. It would now be up to individual states to set these abortion rules. And some of them could be very extreme. Like something we're probably going to talk about next week is that in Texas, the governor recently signed into law a bill that bans abortion, I think after, it's called a heartbeat bill. So as soon as a heartbeat appears in the fetus, which I think could be as early as a few weeks.
Who gives a crap about heartbeat. These people are just like, why is this still a discussion? Who gives a crap about fetuses? They're not self-aware. Nobody should care. Why is this a discussion in the most advanced country of the goddamn planet? Like so-called apparently advanced, most advanced. Like, yeah, God, why can't we move on? It's just a bunch of cells. You know what we should do? I propose we make a lab that makes millions of little fetuses all the time, and as soon as the heartbeat shows up, it just kills it all over and over again. Like 1,000 of them each every day, just so they'll be like, he can't do anything with just out of spite, out of spite. Oh,
Okay.
actually, I have a better solution.
Oh,
Here's
no.
my solution. Here. Do it at home abortion kits that at some point, not now, I know it's dangerous. I know it's dangerous right now, but one day, not now. Don't do it now. Don't do it right now. It's extreme dangerous. But I'm hoping one day we get to a place, right, where we're gonna have, you could order on Amazon a machine that just is connected to the internet, and like a doctor from India or somewhere can monitor that you're healthy and everything, and it's just very, very clean, very like safe, right? And then you just sit on it and you press a button and it just goes inside, takes the fetus, blends it, liquefies it, and then it sits on top of the like you put the machine on top of the toilet, right? And it's just like you don't even see it. Just like it just you don't. It just goes in, takes care of it, and blends it, and then you flush it down the toilet. You don't feel anything, and you could you don't even have to worry about getting pregnant anymore. You could get pregnant as many times as you want, and every time you don't feel like it, it doesn't really matter what point of the pregnancy you're in. You could be like very late stage. It doesn't matter. The machine will take care of it for you. It's very safe, very healthy. Make this happen. Fetus blending machine. Make it happen, like so that you don't have to worry about not having abortion clinics and something like that. Scientists, this machine will make it. I will donate to. Like you don't even have to give me credit. Okay. I'm not trademarking it. Go make this a thing. Remove the patent on it so that the whole world could take advantage of it. It will save the planet. Okay, family planning around the world. It will save everything. It doesn't matter if your country is bans that are like send these machines, like save the country, especially countries that have abortion laws against abortion, like secretly like make it so that they could print it. Okay, like put the have 3D printing machines, right? So people could go online and they just make it at home, right? I don't know, something, okay? Or like import it illegally into countries that they have anti-abortion laws and send it to all, liberate all women, liberate women by sending them liquefying fetus machines around the world, okay? Liquefy the fetuses. It's like, it will save the planet. It will save, like, again, I'm not saying like population control is not an issue everywhere. Some countries need higher populations, but planning when the families if they want to have baby, if they could plan it, that will really help, especially countries where they're suffering from poverty. Family planning is important. Have a baby when you want it. When you don't, guys, if you don't want to have a baby and you're pregnant, you don't have to worry about, oh, but the baby is healthy. No, it's not a goddamn baby. It's a fetus. Okay, it's not a goddamn baby. It's a fetus. Okay, and you don't need to be like, oh, am I financially secure enough to be able to take care of it? No, it doesn't matter. If you just don't feel like it, you shouldn't be a parent, okay? If you're halfway pregnant and you like, you know what? I changed my mind. I don't want to have a baby. I am completely capable of being a parent. I'm financially secure. I have a partner that could support me, but I don't feel like it. That's all you need to be able to get rid of the, completely nuke the baby, okay? Just liquefy the baby. It doesn't really matter. Eliminate that thing. It's
not nuke the baby.
Not the fetus. You're right. Nuke the fetus. Okay.
I don't even have to respond to that. I would just like to ask the live chat what they think of Armin's creative solutions to this legislation on this episode. He's had several creative solutions.
Blend the fetus, liquefy it, and actually don't flush it down the toilet. Maybe use it in your garden. Maybe, I don't know. Like, it's like, It's organic material. Grow some plants with it. It's a lot of good material there. I don't know,
I'm
but do
upset.
something. But it's better than having a baby. It's better than bringing a baby into the world when you're not feeling to be a parent. Okay, fetus lives don't matter. Liquefy the fetuses. Put it in your garden. Grow some plant with it.
Yeah. Oh my God. So yeah, that we were talking about this last night, and the first time you said this to me, I lost it.
Yes, for
Um,
Fetalizers, exactly.
I hate you guys. I hate everyone.
No, people agree with me. Fetus lives don't matter. Fetus lives don't matter. Make this hashtag. We're not. Me and Susanna have been kicked out of Twitter, so we can't do this. Go and make this trend on Twitter. Fetus lives don't
Wait, I
matter.
want to talk about something.
Hashtag fetus lives don't matter. Hashtag liquefy fetuses.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I'm really worried about how this is going to play out. So wait, there was a really good comment by Rabid Atheist that I want to highlight. Let me see if I can find it. Because this is a very complicated issue that I'm not like extremely well versed in. But my understanding is that there are several states that have these so-called trigger laws that are basically laws that would put really tight restrictions on abortion if any challenge to Roe v. Wade was attained. Here we go from the Rabid Atheist saying, if this goes through, it becomes a states' rights issue again. It would gut Roe v. Wade on a practical level. And this is what I wanted to highlight. Exactly. So there would be these trigger laws in many states where as soon as there was any changes to the standard or the precedent set by Roe v. Wade or Casey versus Planned Parenthood, that there would be these trigger laws that immediately put into effect these insanely tight restrictions on abortions. And then we already have a lot of state variation in abortion rights or accessibility. It should be your right everywhere, but it's a lot of a problem is of accessibility to it. So that's already a wide problem that varies throughout the states, but it would become even worse. So like me in California, I would have very loose liberal restrictions if anything was to happen to the status or the precedent set by Roe v. Wade. Like my life would probably be unaffected, but that wouldn't be the case for people in other states. It could really damage their life. And this is a whole different thing, but like abortion is actually really good for the economy. Not even like in the immediate, but in future generations, it benefits the economy. And it's just, this is such a disaster waiting to happen on so many levels. It will leave so many women to go have abortions that are dangerous. Oh, by the way, I didn't give a firm label on Armin's idea. Don't. I mean, I know he said in a hypothetical future where it is completely safe. Okay, right now, doing anything like that is not safe.
Yes,
okay.
I said don't do it yourself now. I'm saying technology advances eventually when you have a machine that you put at home. No. I definitely don't do it. Of course not. God damn it. Of course.
It's worth repeating.
I clarified it like 10 times. So like, yeah, of course, don't do it at home. It's absolutely. In fact, these laws are putting women's lives at risk because some people might be so desperate that they are going to do it at home. My mom actually, before she had me, she did it herself, and she was a college student, and she almost died bleeding if she wasn't found in her dorm room. Like she had her entire mattress was filled with blood, and she passed out from bleeding. And if the people didn't find her, she would have died before she had me. So. Yeah, my mom actually had this was early after the revolution in Iran, and she really wanted an abortion, and she went to so many doctors, and at that time it was so dangerous for any doctor to even attempt this. Every single one of them refused her, but the last doctor told her, like, I'm not going to do this, but if you want to do it yourself, this is how it's done. And the doctor actually recommended, like, this is how you use a coat hanger or whatever. And my mom went home, went to her university dorm. She was a nursing student back then. And she did it herself. And she says she's remembered that when she flushed the toilet, she saw that she hated seeing that fetus like go round and round before it went down. And then she started bleeding and she almost died. So yeah, don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah.
Oh my God, it's literally a nightmare. And that will be the lives of so many more women. Because it's already a reality for many women in, for example, Mississippi, where there is only one clinic where it's basically armored, like there's a federal like money printing press in there or something. It's terrifying. And I would also like to highlight, by the way, that this ban in Mississippi even outlaws abortion in the case of rape or incest. That is, you're not allowed to get an abortion in the case of rape or incest under this law. It's so screwed up. It is so screwed up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Anyways, let's move
I
on.
am going to be following this closely, and
Thank you.
we won't see how things evolve until later when oral arguments are heard. But guys, I'm worried. I'm really worried. I'm not gonna lie.
Can we clap for the next news?
No. Sorry,
Next
guys.
news.
Next news. Dozens held in Pakistan for trying to lynch brothers accused of blasphemy in Islamabad, Pakistan. Pakistani police detained dozens of men on May 18th on charges of attacking a police station.
Wait,
In an
what?
attempt to lynch two brothers held in jail accused of desecrating a Muslim mosque. The police took the brothers accused of blasphemy to a secure location along with some injured officials. Hamza Shafat, Islamabad deputy commissioner, told Reuters most of the arrested men were refugees from Afghanistan. Police officer Asim Ghaffar mentioned that the mob wanted to behead the accused. The two brothers were accused of blasphemy for allegedly ripping up a banner inscribed with the names of the companions of Prophet Muhammad from the outer wall of a mosque. So, oh my God. So, look at this article. Some 36 have been arrested. 36 people attacked a police station trying to get at the prisoners inside. And part of why I wanted to bring this up was to validate the point that we have said many times before, that if you're accused of blasphemy in Pakistan, you may actually be safer with the police, who will likely sentence you to death. Well, the police won't do it. You know what I mean?
The system.
Yes.
Yeah, because the death sentences in Pakistan actually never been carried out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are accused of anything like this for blasphemy, you're like, it seemed to me like you were safer if you were arrested. But these mobs, they're like, no, chill. Like, even if you're in prison, we're gonna come for you in prison. Look at this. Okay, in other countries, people are intimidated by the police. In Pakistan, the police is intimidated by the mob. Like, imagine if you're the actual police, and who do you call if you're the police and you see a mob coming? Like, imagine if you're a cop and you get a call and you're like, okay, what's your emergency? Like, we're actually cop ourselves. Like, we need backup. Like, this this is like so insane. Imagine if you're the cops that's supposed to scare people about to behave, but you're actually like, you're scared of the people. The police in Pakistan, they're intimidated by the Islamists. This is how crazy Pakistan has become. And guys,
Yeah.
I know some of you are in the live today saying, "Oh, this is shocking," sarcastically, but this is shocking. It's even for Pakistan. Like, these people have no chill. Like, it used to be like, "Oh my God, you're accused of blasphemy. The mob is gonna get you," but now you're arrested. Like, "Oh, thank God, I'm arrested because now I'm safe in prison." But now this is like a new level of escalation. Like, even if you're in prison, we're gonna come tear down the prison. We might come and attack. These people are so angry that they know for like you think like these people don't know if they're attacking the police that there's going to be consequences for attacking the police, that they're going to get arrested, that they're going to go to jail. They know that.
Oh yeah.
They don't care. They're like, it's our duty. We have to do it.
For the honor of the
police
prophet.
is protecting you. Guys, the Pakistani police, like, we're going to go over them and attack you in prison. It's like, it's so scary.
Like,
hashtag fund the police in Pakistan, I guess. I don't know.
God damn it. Oh my gosh. Yeah, and I would just like to point out the men who are accused of blasphemy are also like accused of pelting the mosque with stones. I thought it was very interesting to highlight that it wasn't actually specifically blasphemy against Muhammad. It was against companions of the prophet, meaning the Sahaba. So this now becomes this Shia versus Sunni thing. And no, the police officer said, quote, "Give us the accused. We will decide what to do with them." That's what he said that the mob was saying.
Oh,
They
okay.
injured
So the police
police.
officer.
They injured police officials.
So the
in their
mob was
attempt to
telling
get
that to the
people.
police that like you don't worry about it. You guys go take a hike. We'll take care of these criminals. Okay, but Aaron. So Aaron is saying it appears Armin Navabi has not heard about the mob in Pakistan attacking and kidnapping
What?
police over the French ambassador a few weeks ago. This is mild stuff now. No, Aaron, we covered it here on Atheist Republic. I'm saying things are escalating, just like you saying this was a few weeks ago. Obviously, like, this is becoming a new thing. A few weeks ago is not that long ago. God damn it. But yeah.
And that was shocking. Okay, and I love
That
that
is
comment
shocking.
of this is mild stuff now. No, it's not.
No, it's not.
You're
not
saying that,
mild.
so they had
Oh
they
yeah, it's
took
every
police
Tuesday now.
officers hostage over, I'm not even going to get into what that whole fight was about, right? So this is just normal now. No, you think it's normal that this is just a continued attitude now? And also, like, we've seen this type of behavior before. This wasn't just in regards to the TLP thing.
Also,
but
things are escalating. You go on, you finish.
There was a really good comment from Michael Sherlock saying, "Isn't it so weird that blasphemy convictions save lives in Pakistan?"
Yeah, it's weird. It's
like,
so
that's an
confusing.
interesting way to put it. That's a very interesting way to put it.
Yeah. Another point to bring up is that, as Susanna pointed out, this is new. Even for Pakistan, this is a new standard. Like, things are escalating because it used to be if you insult Muhammad, your life, like, you get, not even if you insult, if you get accused of insulting Muhammad, things would escalate to these kind of levels, right? Now, again, this is new for people who think like, no, this happens every Tuesday in Pakistan. No, this is a new escalation because the Sahaba are becoming the new friend. Like, people are like, okay, God damn it, let's not say anything about Muhammad. That's not enough. We have to go after the Shias. So even being accused of having views against the Sahaba is not Muhammad. They're the companions of Muhammad. That means the mob could go after you. And if that is the new standard, every Shia could become a target in Pakistan. Because I don't know if people understand, when we say the companions of Muhammad, that's how Sunnis describe them. These are the same people that the Shias think that are the people who betrayed Muhammad's will, the people who betrayed the Ahlul Bayt, the Ali and Fatima. So these are the heroes in Sunni Islam, and these are the villains in Shia Islam. So now insulting them or having views against them is considered blasphemy in Pakistan. I mean, guys, this is new, not just in Pakistan. This is new everywhere, right? Because I mean, here's the thing, okay? This is too extreme for Saudi Arabia, okay? Because Saudi Arabians, like the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia, they don't think like veneration of the Sahaba is justified, right? So that's how crazy this is getting in Pakistan, because people are like, in Saudi Arabia, some of these Wahhabis might be like, the Sahaba, but they were just people. They were not holy people. They were not like sacred. They were not like, something that you need to get butthurt over like this, right? So if you maybe speak bad about them, they will be like, no, you're wrong, this is bad. But this is not the reaction you get from Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia. This is not like, you've gone, you know how far things have gone, where this is an extreme compared to like Saudi Arabian Wahhabis. Anyways, what are you gonna say?
Oh, well, I actually wanted to highlight that the criminalizing, insulting the companions of the Prophet or the Sahaba is actually not that new.
No,
it's been a part of the penal code for some time.
Wait, sorry, say that again.
The criminalizing of the insulting of the Sahaba is not new.
I know. Wait, okay. This is so. Let's look at the levels of escalation. Okay.
No,
it's been like about a couple of year or two where this is now being introduced in Pakistan as new grounds for laws for blasphemy when you go after the Sahaba, right? So that's one level of escalation that we've seen happening. And now a new level of escalation is that we see the same mob reaction that we used to see against secularists, atheists, and Ahmadis, then eventually led to, like, we saw more of it against Christians, right? And now we're seeing that we saw it becoming closer to law in Pakistan, but now we're seeing the same mob reactions against the Shias happening more and more. So that's another escalation. And now we're seeing the escalation going so far where they're attacking police. They're attacking 36 people at the same time, attacking a police station, not for the sake of Muhammad, but for the sake of the companions of Muhammad. If you think that this is not escalation compared to what's before, you have not been following what's happening, right? This is definitely escalation, even based on the Pakistani standards.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people in the live chat are pointing out that, like, attacks against Shia aren't new. You're right, but we can agree that it's definitely escalated. I remember last year there was that rally of tens of thousands of people. I can't remember where, in one of the major cities, just shouting, tens of thousands. It looked like tens of thousands of people just shouting, like, "Kafir, Kafir, Shia, Kafir."
Right.
You know, so, and that was shocking to many people I knew, like, of how bad it got.
Even in Pakistan.
Yeah.
See, like, let me highlight this, because ARN, you are incapable of listening to what I'm saying. Okay, so ARN is saying, I urge you to look at the long history of attacks on Shias in Pakistan region. It goes back decades and decades. It's not new. Okay, you are completely. Your listening skills are in the toilet. Okay. I have been covering the history of that, and I have even looked at the sources of that, and I've also seen the escalation of this movement increasing ever since 1979, even more than before. I've covered interviews of people in Pakistan who said that before the Islamic Revolution of Iran and the promotion of Wahhabi madrasas by Saudi Arabia and Pakistan, a lot of Muslims in Pakistan didn't even know the difference between the Shia and Sunni, and then but the rises madrasa since the past 40 years, the escalation between Shias and Sunnis have increasing. This is not in contradiction to the fact that separation have been escalating. The fact that they existed since decades ago doesn't mean that it hasn't been escalating. How are your minds so binary? Just because something existed before, it doesn't mean that it's not escalating. God damn it, you guys are so simplistic in your way of thinking.
This actually reminds me an example of this escalating, and this isn't specifically against the Shia, but and I've been looking for more information on this. But I'm having a hard time finding it in English. Also, so my understanding is that recently more legislation has been passed that I believe probably criminalization is in place for people who do not use a phrase at the end of Muhammad's name. And it's a phrase, I don't know, it's probably in Urdu. But it's a phrase that basically means, like, every time you say Muhammad, like, peace be upon him, you also acknowledge that he is the last prophet. And you have to say this, otherwise it's deemed blasphemy and you could be criminalized for it. Now, this specifically targets Ahmadis, who are one of the most persecuted minorities in Pakistan. Some people even argue that they experience a form of apartheid in Pakistan, because for them, Muhammad isn't the last prophet. So if you don't say this phrase acknowledging that he is the last prophet, then you're going to be criminalized, and or you're like outing yourself as like Ahmadiyya, possibly. Like that's how deeply things are escalating. That even the words that you use and phrases that you say after his name, like you not doing that could get you in serious trouble. So if there's someone who knows what I'm talking about, if you could send me more information on that, because I've been trying, I heard about this, but I can't find information in English to give you more specific and more detailed explanation. Please pass that on to me on Instagram or on Discord. Links in the description.
All right. Can we clap for the next news?
Let's clap because I find this hilarious.
Next news.
Indian court blocks blasphemous movie accused of defaming Catholics. Okay, so we're gonna get into this. This is okay. So we don't obviously support the blocking of blasphemy, right? But this film just seems right up my alley, which is why I'm talking about it. Okay, let me continue. On May 12th, the High Court in southern India's Kerala state opposed the release of Aquarium, a movie in the Malayalam language. So, a member of the Sacred Heart Congregation, Sister Jessie Money, who filed a petition in the Delhi High Court, said that the movie trivialized the life of Catholic priests and nuns by, quote, portraying them as mere sex objects. She elaborated, quote, there are scenes of sexual relationships among the same sex between priests and nuns and sex with animals in a highly derogatory manner. Her complaint also detailed the offensive nature of the movie trailer, which, quote, depicted the sexual relationship of nuns with two priests and also an emotional relationship with Jesus Christ, thereby clearly tarnishing the reputation of the Catholic Church and its members, which she claimed would, quote, demoralize priests and nuns.
Hey, I like this movie. Wait, can you explain what's... This is the best promo for this movie. What's happening in the movie? Can you explain?
So, this is actually interesting. There's this movie, right now it's titled Aquarium. I think it used to be under a different name. This movie has been blocked from release since 2013. So, movies have to go through like a form of bureaucracy where they get approved by like government branches and stuff, and then they get to be released. So this movie has been blocked for years because of the content in this film. And I guess there were some like changes in that where it was allowed to be released on online platforms. Like right now I saw that it's being released on some like South Asian streaming platform. And so this trailer comes out and it really pisses off people for defaming Catholics. So I wanted to highlight this news for a couple of reasons. One, because it doesn't seem very often that Christians in India use the blasphemy law there. Or at least this is one of the first times it's come into my awareness. Also, because I love this marketing. Okay. Because the first time I found out about the Islamic film that's going to come out, The Lady of Heaven, is when the Pakistani telecommunications agency put out a bulletin banning the film for being sacrilegious. Right. I was like, did someone say sacrilegious? I'm going to go watch this trailer right now. Yeah. I saw this. I'm like, I'm going to go watch this right now. I watched the trailer for this. Guys, like Google Aquarium, Malayalam or something, and watch this trailer. I was like, this looks right up my alley. I love this. I couldn't understand a lot of it, but it seems like a sexy Catholic, like maybe murder thriller. But it...
Okay, so here's a question.
Sorry, I'm just so into like...
When did this movie come out? Like, when does this movie announced? Like, when was the first ad?
Let me pull up the article. So
it doesn't matter because I'm going to claim it anyways. I think these movie makers followed Atheist Republic, and they saw. I'm just making a claim here, okay? and they saw how much our patronage grew when we were blocked in India, how much news coverage we got, and be like, that seemed like a great marketing tactic. What if we get banned? What if we get blocked in India? That's going to make so many more people watch us. So I think, like, yeah, maybe that's look. It's completely apparently look. It's sex scenes. There's sex scenes involving priests and nuns. Can we like make a blasphemous art celebrating this movie?
Yes,
and
we
promoting
can.
it? Yeah, and promoting it. Yes, as well. Like we heard that India just blocked a movie that involves sex scenes between priests and nuns. I mean, honestly, do you guys need to hear anything more than sex scenes between priests and nuns to be, you know, tempted to go
sold.
watch this movie?
I'm
Yeah, I'm
sold.
so like, yeah. But then now that the court has blocked it, isn't this an honor if your movie is so sexy that a court has to come and block it? Like that's amazing.
It's too hot. It's too hot. Okay, so to answer your
It's
question,
too hot for India. Watch the movie this summer. Watch the movie that was too hot for India. Right?
So the movie was completed, which means that it was probably filming way before then. It was completed in 2013, and it's been blocked from being released for almost 10 years.
What?
It was completed in 2013, and it failed to hit screens that year because India's Central Board of Film Certification denied permission because of its controversial and offensive nature, supposedly. But it was released online on May 14th, so you guys can go find this online if you want. It's now titled Aquarium, but I love this. The producers originally named the movie, and I can't say this because it's in Malayalam, but it translates to Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But then they just renamed it Aquarium as a part of like a clandestine attempt to get it released online. Like, okay, well, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, that's a little too obvious. We just gotta call it Aquarium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, like, do these, like, I don't understand. Do these people not understand? Like, okay, so did these Christians in India genuinely were attempting for this movie to not be seen, and they thought getting the court to block it is the best way to go about doing that? Like, do these Christians in India not know how the internet works and that this is the best way to market this movie and make sure as many people as possible watch it? Like, do they not know that? Like do they actually had a hope that, oh yeah, if we get the court to block it, this is going to help us? People will, oh yeah, the court blocked it, this means people won't watch it. Like, where do these people live? Like, how are they like completely out of touch with how anything works? I don't know.
Well, okay, so this made me think a couple of things. When I saw Selva Kumar in the live chat saying that this is based on real events that happened in Kerala. I don't know if that's true, but if so, even more based. Michael Sherlock is saying, so Susanna's kink is sexually Catholic murder mysteries. What would Freud conclude? I don't see anything wrong with that. But to continue, one thing I thought when she was watching this, or this nun, she complained about this in the trailer. She was saying that this would demoralize Catholic nuns and priests. And the first thing I thought, and let me finish, is that I am so glad that she doesn't live in the United States. I don't know what would happen to this woman's heart and her brain if she lived in the United States. Because what I saw in that trailer, I was like, this demoralizes nuns and priests. You should see the treatment they get here in the US. Like, I'm happy for you that you don't live in the US, which also in turn made me think, I am so happy that the people in the US who do think this way, we have constitutional rights that protect us from still like having this viewed, seen, etc. Like, I'm glad that they don't have the political power to just completely nix this kind of thing. We have the Bill of Rights. Because I don't know, this like fragility around protecting religious sentiments is just something that's not so much a part of my culture. So it's hard for me to like appreciate how seriously like people can take something as mild as what I saw in this trailer.
Okay, one thing, first of all, it's amazing to me how sex scenes between priests and nuns are considered something that defame Catholics. If anything, this is the best thing. Like this is such a sex negative view. Like this is the best way of promoting Catholics. Like the only good thing about Catholics is sexy outfits and sex scenes between yeah, that's the only thing that is like adults. The adults, okay. Also, if the court wants to block anything that defames Catholics, then block the Catholic Church in India.
So many people on our Facebook page were saying the same thing. It was so funny. They were like, I would refer the authorities to the 3rd and 4th century and the Catholic activities during that period.
All right.
I was like,
tear it down. Yes.
You have a point, sir.
All right, you read this while I get the next news.
Random Buddhist guy saying it's a case where several nuns came out with sexual harassment accusations against the priests, but the matter couldn't go forward due to corruption. That would make a little bit more sense because, like I said,
wait, I don't endorse this anymore. I thought the sex scenes were consensual.
Well, I didn't understand a word that was being said, so I don't know.
Okay. Then I do not promote anything that happened between the priest or the nuns and them. I thought there was like some
Well, I saw a little tender nun on nun action that seemed consensual. It seemed, I don't know. I only speak English.
I'm in the stream right now. Let's go watch this. There was nun on nun. Wait, did you already say this and I missed it? Why didn't you lead with that? God damn. Like what? You took it till this
You
long?
waited this long?
Oh my God.
We have too much fun here.
All right.
Okay, so maybe that's where the murder mystery comes into this, because it did seem like someone got killed with a crucifix falling on them. Anyways.
Okay.
Yes.
Can we clap for the next news?
No.
No. Okay. Next news.
Next news. Indian mosque. Sorry, let me start again. Okay. Next news. Indian mosque bulldozed in defiance of court order. I would like you to. Oh wait, never mind. I was going to make you guess where this happened, but it's in the subtitle. Okay. In Uttar Pradesh, India.
Of course.
On May 17th, in a highly inflammatory move, a local administration in the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh bulldozed a mosque defying a state high court order. The mosque, called Masjid Gharib Nawaz al-Maruf, had stood for at least 6 decades and since the British rule. A local imam, Maulana Abdul Mustafa, who is on the mosque committee, said that local Muslims were scared and did not dare to protest when the mosque was demolished. The demolition was in violation of a high court order issued on April 24th, which stated that buildings in the state should be protected from any eviction or demolition until May 31st. In the following days, local Muslims said that a permanent structure was built by the administration to block access to the mosque. On March 19th, people were stopped from entering the mosque for Friday prayers, causing protests in the area. More than 35 local Muslims who were protesting were arrested and put in jail. So there's a lot that goes into this. And if someone knows more specifics about that, please tell us in the live chat. Because this happened over a period of months. So there was a part in around March where, for whatever reason, they said that this was going to be demolished. And actually, let me pull this up because I want to get this right. Just a second. And I want to find my notes. So on March 15th, there was a notice about this unofficial mosque and requesting evidence that, the committee or whoever was in charge had permissions for this land. And they were citing a court ruling that illegal religious constructions can be demolished if they caused any obstructions. So what the mosque committee did is they gave a detailed response. They're like, we've had electricity here since like 1959. They showed that the mosque structures don't cause obstruction in any way. And but they did not like honor that evidence, so to speak. So then 3 days later, on March 18th, the mosque committee went to Allahabad, the high court, citing the concerns. They're like, I think our mosque is going to face imminent demolition because of it being deemed like an illegal or unofficial religious structure. They're like, it's been here they claim hundreds of years, or at least 100 years. And so upon the court eventually ruled that no action can be taken for demolition until the 31st. Now, what's not clear to me about this is if this means that, on the 31st demolishing it was totally fine, or if this was kind of like a stay and decision. That part isn't entirely clear to me. Regardless, what ended up happening was way before the 31st, on the 17th, there was just this demolition. So they like kicked people out of the mosque who were inside. And actually leading up to this, there are many days, like I said before.
Like state authorities?
Yes. Like they were building barriers for people to actually get into the mosque. And so they were barriers for people giving their Jummah prayers. And this caused a lot of protests. And these protests, 35 people were arrested. Some of these people are still in jail for this protest. So that happened a few months ago. Now, this past week is when this was just demolished in defiance of this court order that said that it couldn't be demolished until the end of the month. And what people weren't allowed to be anywhere near there.
Is this what court is this? This is Uttar Pradesh's high court?
Yes, the state's high court said that you can't demolish this until the end of the month.
Wait, so you have the government versus the government? You have the court saying that you can't do this, and then you have state officials going in and demolishing it anyways?
I believe it was more like the state versus like a district. You know what I mean? So state as in government officials, yes. Were they the same officials who made the decision versus who did it? No. Different levels of government.
So would they people who did it, you said, did you mention that the people who demolished it got arrested or anything because of this is against the court order?
No.
Why not? They did this against the court order, no? Like, isn't this a violation of the law and destruction of private property against the court order? Like, shouldn't they get arrested?
Yeah, well, it seems like kind of a little bit of bureaucratic stuff. So then in a press statement, the district administration described the demolished structures as a residential complex. So they said that this is a residential construction that is illegal. Whereas previously they were saying it was an unofficial religious structure. And so
read what Katie is saying.
Katie is saying things like this is what I mean when I say the court rulings don't matter when it comes to these people. Yeah, there's a lot of really...
By these people, Katie is referring to Hindutva, far-right bigots in India. But yeah, go on.
Especially in Uttar Pradesh. The court has also said before you cannot jail people for criticizing politicians, but Yogi still jails people for criticizing him. For those who don't know, Yogi Adityanath, or Yogi A, is the chief minister of the state, and he's a Hindu extremist.
And for people who don't know, but are new here, Uttar Pradesh is one of... I want to say one of the most religious extremist state in India. This Yogi guy, which is the head of it, is one of the most bigoted anti-Muslim bigots. Like the things that he says, and he's very close to Modi and his government. But this man is like the things that he's recorded publicly saying about the Muslims.
It's wild. We can't even say.
We can't even describe it here, or else we might get a strike or something. But yeah, that guy heads the state, and he doesn't really care about the law. Like the way he treats Muslims in his state, it violates India's own laws. So it's crazy. Yeah.
And I think it's worth highlighting that this state, Uttar Pradesh, has... Katie, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it is the most populous state in India, and it has one of the highest populations of Muslims within India, which is coincidentally, unfortunately, one of the states where they are the most persecuted, the most demonized, the most vilified. So a lot of people are saying like this is a highly inflammatory move. And what you're seeing here on the screen is not only did they demolish this mosque, but then they dumped the rubble and the remains into the river, which I feel like is just like putting salt in the wound. Like you can't even recover what's left because we just threw it in the river. There was something else I wanted to highlight. Oh, yes. So this is really important. And this is going to get into a little bit of detail and minutia that I'm not as familiar with, but it's important for the bigger picture. So Uttar Pradesh, the district where this mosque is located is adjacent to I always say it wrong, Adyoha, which is the mythical birthplace of Lord Ram or Rama, which is like the Hindu nationalist, like, I don't even know how to describe how important like Lord Rama is as a mythological figure, as an object of worship, like to the Hindu nationalists. Like it's so extreme the way that they feel about Lord Ram. So this mosque is located very close to that area, and in this area of Adyoha, this is where this Barbary mosque was located before it was demolished in 1992. Now, this is a highly contentious move that has been the source of so much communal tension, so much communal hatred, so much conflict, and just really severe consequences to the demolition of this mosque where Hindus say that Lord Rama was born. And there's been lots of legal cases that have gone into the demolition of this mosque. But people are saying that the demolition of this mosque is one of the most inflammatory moves that have happened since the demolition of the Barbary Mosque in 1992.
So why is it not getting more coverage?
I guess because maybe this is kind of, to a Western audience, this seems like kind of a niche issue, like, oh, we're fighting over the land where it's rumored that a Hindu god was born. Like, I think it's not perceived as very relevant to
right.
like
read
our
some
audience.
Of the comments.
Chihaya saying, you mean Ayodhya? Thank you. I can never say right. Lord Ram is important mostly to people in UP and the surrounding states. Definitely, I would definitely emphasize its importance in that region, but it does have a through line of being very important to Hindu nationalists in general. I mean, it's all over their propaganda. But is it particularly heavy in that region? Sure. Oh, and Katie is answering my question about, or my claim about it being the most populous state and regarding its Muslim population. Katie is saying the Muslim population of the state is the same as the population of Argentina.
Right.
It is the most populous state with 2/3 of the U.S. population in one state that is the most extremist religious state in the country. So, like, right. I say that just to highlight to people who are not aware, like, how high these stakes are.
Right. So, Uttar Pradesh has 43 million. That's not the population of Uttar Pradesh. That's the population of the minority Muslim population of Uttar Pradesh. So there are 43 million Muslims living in one of the most anti-Muslim far-right extremist provinces, like states in the whole world. Like,
yes.
Again, guys, 43 million is the population of Uttar Pradesh is only 20% Muslim, and this 20% is 43 million people. Okay. And these 43 million people are living under an extremist, anti-Muslim, bigoted, fascist regime under Yogi, with a lot of popular support against Muslims. Imagine, like, what's the population of Gaza? Gaza,
2
like,
million? I think
right,
it's 2
yeah,
million.
2 million. Okay, we're
Oh,
talking
I'm so on
43
top of
million.
it.
We're talking about 43 million Muslims here. So if you care about far right fascism and far right bigotry and oppression of people, right? Globally, this is something that you might want to pay attention to. What's happening we're not even talking about India as a whole. We're talking about just one of the states in India. Look at the astronomical numbers like that we're talking here. It's insane that this is not getting more coverage, given the number of the number of people who are being affected by it.
Well, and also, I mean, not to always go back to this point, but just in terms of like the Muslim Ummah. Like everything is not obviously a complete calculation of just like who has more people where in terms of what issues we care about, but it's so severe. Oh, and Katie is saying a lot of the Shia Muslims in Uttar Pradesh actually vote for the BJP, which is the ruling party of the region and the country. Not sure if Stockholm syndrome or just to spite the Sunnis. I think that's a very interesting point. Shihaya is saying there's also castes among Muslims. Caste dynamics among Muslims make matters even more complicated in India. Only a skilled leader with a sense of reality can rule India's states. No, it is very complicated. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say. Yeah, I know. I think the whole issue with the Barbary Mosque, like I can see people in the live chat arguing back and forth about what came before. There was a temple, it was destroyed, and then people have been like fighting over this area of land like for centuries. I find it very similar to kind of this fight over Jerusalem, actually. And so that the whole history of it is not something I'm extremely familiar with, so I don't want to get into that specifics, but I just wanted to say that to give people a larger idea of why this is such contested land and why this is so inflammatory specifically in this area. So yes, it'll be interesting to see if the people who did this are going to be prosecuted in any way, but I would not hold my breath. You're muted.
How many Uyghur Muslims do we have as a whole?
As a whole, I'm not sure. I know that the numbers in terms of who are actively in detainment are around at over 1 million, possibly 2 million. I'm not sure about the actual population in the broader Xinjiang region, because the broader Xinjiang region is basically, I mean, it's very high surveillance, extremely high surveillance. So it affects way more people than just the people who are actually detained.
I think 12 million, right? So if we compare Gaza with Uttar Pradesh and Uyghurs in China, again, this is actually, I think, when I compare these things, it's not to suggest that we shouldn't pay attention to the other ones, right? I'm just talking about, like, just to give some sense to the scale of the number of people that are affected by policies of governments, right? So if you think about, okay, what Israel does, how many Muslims like it impacts in a very extreme way, or what China does, how many Muslims does it impact? Again, this is not just a simplistic version of this comparison, because the way that their lives are affected are extremely different, right? So for example, what China does is a lot more extreme, literally putting people in concentration camps for the crime of just being Muslim. So the nature of the effect on people is very different. So when I compare these things, I'm not just saying like suggesting that one of them is worse or one of it doesn't deserve attention. Of course, they all deserve attention, but I just want to put it in perspective, the scale of what's happening in India, just to promote the idea of more people paying attention to it. Okay, like the number, like again, 2 million in Gaza. We're talking 12 million Muslims in China, in Uyghur Muslims in China, and we're talking 43 million Muslims, not in India, but only in one state in India. right? So this is what that's why India is so important to us. And Katie is saying here something.
Oh, so this is more background to the temple. So the Hindu side says that the Ram Nanda or temple was destroyed by Babur, the first Mughal who created the mosque on top of the demolished temple. Yeah, so we're going back to the Mughal Empire, guys. This is how far back this goes.
Right.
But I also just wanted to say I'm proud of myself for remembering the population of Uttar Pradesh and specifically its Muslim minority. I was like, dang.
Aaron is saying both India and Jerusalem were invaded by Muslim armies, so in a sense that is similar. Yeah, but those are many years ago. I mean, that's interesting point, but if we want to compare them, I'm mostly focusing on what this, right now. And again, I'm not when I compare things, I'm not suggesting they're similar. I'm just comparing numbers for perspective. Okay, no, people always, when you compare things, people are like, oh, Armin, they're not the same. Yeah, I'm just comparing one. I'm not comparing the entire thing. I'm just comparing one aspect of it. When you have a point of reference. So, for example, when Katie in the live chat was saying, okay, like other British population, Muslim population is the same as Argentina as a whole. Was she suggesting that they're the same? Argentina and Uttar Pradesh are the same? No, it's just a point of reference for comparison, so you get the sense of the scale of things, right? All right, cool. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Oh wow,
really?
I didn't.
Yes.
I wasn't even going to clap because I thought you were going to say no. Okay, I guess. All right. All right. Wait. Why am I not focusing? Hold on. We'll clap as soon as I'm in focus. There we go. Next news.
American secular groups hold historic meeting with the White House. So this is really exciting. On May 14th, White House officials Melissa Rogers, Josh Dickinson, and Ben Odell met with the leaders of several members of the Secular Coalition for America. The main topic of conversation was to maintain church and state separation and equality under the law. The conversation stressed the importance of rescinding dangerous and discriminatory actions taken by the Trump administration. The atheist group suggested that the judicial nominees take a strong stances on religious equality and support those who are non-religious. The organization, American Atheists, talked about policies to be made to ensure that no one is rejected from shelter, adoption, or foster agency or denied access to any other essential service due to religiously motivated discrimination.
I think I have a problem that needs to go. I need to go get this checked.
Wait, can you scroll down though? I want you to scroll down so you see the photo. No, scroll down so you can see the picture of the Zoom call. Wait, that's not in here?
Can you let me actually finish my point? Never mind.
Yes.
Like, look at this title. It seems like such a positive title, and I have a problem with, like, I look at the title like this again.
Oh,
this
I
is
know
why
what
I
the
think.
problem is.
I think. Can people in the live chat, like, this? See, I think I have a problem. I need to go talk to somebody, because I see this and I'm like, I'm triggered. I'm triggered. I am offended. I'm triggered. I think I have an issue. Okay. Because this is supposed to, like, okay, the normal, rational, optimistic, glass half full reaction to this should be, and I acknowledge this, they're like, wow, this is so great. Look at this. They're finally acknowledging atheists. They care about us. Like, this is the entire point of our activism, is for people to acknowledge our existence and try to do something to address all, anti-atheist discrimination and all of that, right? This is supposed to be, everything, not everything. A lot of what we do here is to get results like this, right? However, I read this title and I get triggered by the fact that there's such a thing as a White House faith office. That's the fact that that's a thing. I don't know. It's just like, what? Yeah, I don't know. Guys, did anybody predict that that's my issue with it? Yeah, there you go, Marcia. Faith office is because so many Americans are religious. Okay, so I'm not the only one. It's not just me then, huh? Okay, Katie is saying, Why? No, that's not what. Oh, that's not. You thought that that's going to be my reaction. Why has this not happened till now? No, I'm actually genuinely surprised that this happened. So this is not. This is not something I expect. Like, this is not something that I thought it should have happened, or that I expected to happen. Katie guessed wrong. Katie thought like my problem is going to be that. Oh, why this only happened now?
No, I know what your problem is.
Yeah.
Can I guess, since I wasn't here when you said? Your
yeah,
problem
guess.
is going to be that the White House has a faith office.
Yes.
I'm on top of it, you guys.
Every time I see something like this, I feel like, okay, the faith office. And who's the head of the faith office? You know what I think in my mind? I think in like Dungeons and Dragons, like you have a king and the king has a witch. Okay. So I think the most advanced country in the world, apparently the president, where it's everything, the system is so backward that the head of the country has like a spiritual, like a magic man. The president of the United States of America needs a magic man to talk about magic related stuff to the president. Advise me on magic stuff. Protect this land spiritually. Put a shield around this country. Do your magic prayer stuff. Talk to some, your sky overlord to protect this land and make sure that we have good ties with other spiritual witch doctors of, Jewish or Christian and Muslim and Hindu. Like, make sure your brand of magic is like in harmony with other people's brand of magic, so that this country is at peace. That's what it is. It's Dungeons and Dragons stuff. That's what it is. It's I don't know. It's weird. It's weird that we're here.
Okay,
yes,
exactly. I found what I was looking for. Wait, I want to bring it on the screen.
King Arthur and Merlin. That's exactly what this is. Yes. Oh, look at this. You're saying, do you folks have an email address where I can rant against Armin's stupid takes? Yes, I want you to keep burning and being triggered. So go to atheistrepublic.com, go to the contact us page, and send us an email there, and make sure it's very, very, very long. So when I don't read it and I just archive it, I could laugh out loud when you spend so much time submitting an email and I didn't spend a second reading it and I just archived it. It would make my day. Just go send us an email and I'll make sure to look for it so I could spend some time ignoring it, so I could sit and laugh about how much time you wasted sending it to us.
So I like this. This was a screenshot of the meeting, and here I can fangirl over some people who I think do great work. Like, here we have Mohammed Syed from XMNA, Ex-Muslims of North America, contributed to this, as well as, people from Anne Marie Gaylor and Dan Parker from Freedom from Religion Foundation, and Andrew Seidel from Freedom from Religion Foundation. So yeah, I was mainly fangirling over Mohammed Syed there. I'm not even gonna lie. Yeah, and
bring it back. That's great, guys.
I wanted to read something. I'll have to share a different tab. Sorry.
That's great.
Here we go.
The XMNA is look at this. XMNA is involved with the White House. That's awesome. Just to rebrand that thing, then rebrand that. Okay. So whatever this office is, it seems to be doing good work. Just name it something else. I don't know. Faith office. God damn it.
So Ex-Muslims in North America had a press release that they put on their website about their participation in this, and I wanted to highlight some aspects of it. So Sarah Levin, Public Affairs Associate for XMNA, stated, "We are absolutely opposed to the dehumanization of people, including Muslims, and we are absolutely opposed to silencing criticism, even offensive criticism of ideas, including religion. Efforts to redefine hate speech to include criticism of religion is the new frontier of blasphemy law." And this was the first meeting of ex-Muslims with the White House.
Wow, that's impressive.
And they say, "We are optimistic that it represents the start of many fruitful discussions between the Biden administration and our coalition. Our continued collaboration will undoubtedly further the rights of Americans and non-American ex-Muslims alike."
Wow, that's some awesome. These are the best organizations to pick. I'm so impressed. Like they pick atheists. They pick the Freedom from Religion Foundation. So and look, Andrew Seidel is there. Um, Annie is there, and but they picked an ex-Muslim. I was gonna say main, but maybe the only ex-Muslim organization in the United States. Like they didn't even do PC. They didn't even go PC with it. They didn't just go with like Christian and ex-Christian, mainly ex-Christian organization. They brought the ex-Muslim organization at the White House to represent ex-Muslims. That's freaking amazing. I think the Biden administration is just trying to make it because we promised people to criticize the Biden administration. They're just trying to make it so that we can't keep that promise. Like this is bad. Like I hope Biden actually does some really horrible things so that we can keep our
Armin,
promise. Right?
Why would you say that?
We promise people to criticize the Biden administration when they do something stupid, but we need to be able. Like I hope they do some. Anyways. So you see Anne over there from Freedom from Religion Foundation. I'm gonna take this opportunity to brag about the fact that Anne gave me this book. And wait, oh my God, what is that? You said you're fangirling over there, and I can't do it when I have a book.
Okay, fair.
Oh my God, yourself. Like, look at this. You're like, oh, I'm fangirling. Well, do you have a book signed by Anne? Look at this, guys. No. This is a book. Woe to the woman. The Bible tells me so. The Bible, female sexuality and the law. This is by Annie Gaylor, and look what she signed. Thank you to me. Thank you for Anne signed this. This is Anne's. And she's saying, thank you for founding our Atheist Republic. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful? Look at this. Look at this. Oh my God. Look at this. And anyways.
But XMNA highlighted something else that I thought was really important, and I really appreciated them for highlighting this. XMNA urged the Biden administration to be mindful of the underrepresentation of atheists and non-religious among those granted refugee status in the United States. According to Pew Research, only 1% of refugees in the United States accepted in 2016 were religiously unaffiliated. Whereas the most recent United States Commission on International Religious Freedom report shows that atheists are the third most persecuted religious minority in the world.
They actually acknowledge this? They're actually acknowledging this at the highest officials.
XMNA is going hard. I love it. This is why I fangirl.
This is the first time atheists are being heard to such a high level.
Yes, this is why I said it was a historic meeting with the White House.
Okay. This is pretty good. This is pretty amazing. This is like a new precedent. Wow.
See, I won you over. We won you over.
Aren't you glad, guys, happy that you voted Trump out? Like, are you guys like not happy? Like, is this not great? Does it not feel good? It feels good. I'm not even American, and I'm proud of you guys. You guys did it. You guys actually managed to make a less than dumb decision for once. Like, anyways. All right. That's good. That's really, guys, that's historic. That's like major. Have we had any government, let alone the most powerful country in the world, ever acknowledge anti-atheist discrimination to such a high level? Like, this seems like a major
I don't know.
This is not a step forward. This is like a giant leap forward, isn't it? Okay,
well, I don't know if the White House acknowledged that so much as having a meeting with people who were very vocal about it.
I call it acknowledgement.
Okay, I'm with it. Hey, I'm all the way there. Michael Sherlock is saying, I think the new obsession with identity politics got ex-Muslims in the door. So I guess there are pros to the problems with obsessing on identity politics.
There's nothing
I disagree. XMNA has been doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. So I think there was a lot more that went into this.
Yeah, and I also don't have an issue with identity politics as a whole. There's right and wrong ways to use identity politics, right?
Exactly.
Identity politics is okay if you say, hey, my identity is under attack. Please protect me. That's the correct way of using identity politics. identity politics is wrong when you use it in this way. Hey, this is my identity. Please give me more privileges compared to other people. Give me more rights or privileges compared to the other people. That's the wrong way to use identity politics. But if you are if you are bringing your identity to attention, not because you want to, but because other people have forced you, because other people are targeting your identity, then you have no choice but to play identity politics, because you need your identity. Your identity is being used like a target on your back. Okay, so that is in those situations, like the extreme. I know this is the extreme example that I'm giving all the time. Is that, imagine if you're like a Jewish person in Germany during World War II, comes to your door and knocks on your door like, "Hey, the SS is looking for me. Can I please hide in your basement?" If you tell that person like, "I don't care that you're a Jew, why are you playing identity politics with me?" That makes no sense. Okay, that person is not making their identity in their issues. Other people are. Okay. Anyways. Okay. Can we clap for the next news?
Yes.
Yes. Next news.
1 second. I need to find my notes. Next news. Oh, you're out of focus again. Okay, let's try this one more time. Can I get you to clap with me?
Oh, yes.
Next news. Okay. AR CEO Susanna to speak with Arabic YouTuber critical faculty. So this is cool. I wanted to let you guys know that next week I will be speaking with critical faculty, and I'm pretty excited about this. So I will be discussing secular morality with him. And I'm excited about this because critical faculty is an ex-Muslim YouTuber, and he's really passionate about, trying to help the Middle East, come into the Enlightenment era. What I think is really cool about what he does is he does broadcasts in both Arabic and English, but then he has his English episodes translated into Arabic so that English-speaking atheists can reach the Muslim and Arabic world, or Arabic-speaking world. So I think that's a really cool project.
That takes a lot of work. That's very impressive. Holy crap.
With Hani Salim. I'm excited. So this will be happening next week on May 29th. And if you guys want to see, it will be happening. I put a link to the description a link to this video where we will be doing this in the description. So just go down to the bottom and check it out. Tune in. And this will be live, and go check out Critical Faculty. He has a lot of interviews with really cool people and a lot of other talks that are scheduled coming up that look awesome too. I went to his channel and I saw that the day after me, he's having on Thomas Sheedy from Atheist for Liberty. And then like a few days after that, he's having on Zara K. So this guy has got some bangers. Wait, we can still see everything.
I know. I'm just showing people that they need. No. I'm showing people to go and share this video. Like, go do this. It's really easy. See how? Go and promote this live stream. I want Susanna to do more interviews like this. So I'm also sharing it on Facebook. There we go.
That's me. Oh,
yes.
And AGA posted a link in the live chat. If you guys just want to follow that link, and then, put the thing where you give me a reminder.
Oh, look, you already have people in the live chat cheering you on over there already.
Oh, what the hell?
It's like in 5 days and you have somebody already saying, Susanna, yay.
I didn't realize I had fans like that. Damn.
Yeah, guys, go when this interview happens, go there and cheer on Susanna. Show her that she has a lot of support.
And someone is asking me, will it be in Arabic? No, it'll be in English. How badass would it be if really I could speak fluent Arabic this whole time? And I didn't tell anyone except for this interview.
No, but it will be translated in Arabic. Guys, actually, that's really this channel. If they're actually translating English interviews into Arabic, that's a very valuable service. Like that, go show this channel some support.
Yeah, and he
because-
has, or if you're more proficient, if you're more fluent in Arabic, you can go see interviews he's done with Lawrence Krauss, Dan Barker, Seth Andrews, Aaron Ra, or David Silverman. These are all, like pretty prominent atheists that he's gotten to talk to. So if you would like to see that in Arabic, go check out his channel. So yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah. I'm glad that Susanna is getting more recognition. She's getting invited to more panels and stuff. She has like a lot of information. Like even I sometimes, even though I know a lot of her information, sometimes when we're talking, she says something like, "How does she know this?" Like so the level of knowledge and and also compassion that she has is pretty impressive. She's such a valuable to the secular movement, and everywhere she goes and works with other people in other groups, like she goes and represents the Atheist Republic, and she works with other secular and humanist institutions, and as soon as she starts working with them, they see how valuable she is, and they keep wanting to bring her back and work with her more. So it's really good. Like so I'm glad that people are recognizing that and keep on inviting her. It's not just the speeches that she gives or like her opinions that are so valuable. She actually also like management, organization, behind the scene planning, when she works with people like Mariam Namazi, or if she works with Muhammad Sayed, like I hope they keep reaching out to her for other stuff as well.
Oh, my heart. Yeah, well, I love our community and I put a lot of work into it, and I love my team and I love our community. I couldn't do most of what I do without like the support of our community. Oh, Michael Sherlock is saying Susanna is a weapon. Thank you. Yeah, people think I'm all cute, or they like when I'm angry until I'm angry at them, and then they're like, ah! But I also want to tease that next week I have maybe not next week, but I have another big speaking engagement coming up that I'm going to have to tease. So I'm going to just like leave you guys with a little cliffhanger because I'm going to have to announce that later. And it's something that I'm a little bit nervous for.
Okay, here's actually, let's end this on this comment. Marcia is saying CEOs need money, Armin. Yes, exactly. And we do pay Susanna, but we don't pay her enough to be able for her to completely quit her job and focus on Atheist Republic. So if you want us to pay Susanna more so she could quit everything else she's doing and do only Atheist Republic, become a patron, link in the description, become a patron so we could pay #pay Susanna, become a patron, and you will help us give her a raise, and then that would be amazing, because I can't imagine where Atheist Republic is going to head when Susanna finally works full time for Atheist Republic, and that would be
we will become unstoppable. We're taking AR to the moon.
To the moon. All right. And if you're poor, please don't support us financially. Yeah. Don't support us financially. I have good news. If you're poor, I have good news. The good news is not that you're not going to be poor. You're going to probably remain poor. However, the good news is that we have free art. You don't have to become a patron. You don't have to support us financially. Do not support us financially if you're poor. You're an idiot. Maybe that's why you're poor. If you're poor and
why we don't grow.
If you are poor and you have considered to support us financially, even though you're poor, that's probably why you're poor. So do not support us financially. Keep your money, save your money. If you're poor, do not support us financially. Get our art. We have art for free. If you subscribe to our newsletter for free, which is free, you get all our art for free. And after you get all our art for free, you better email us telling us to stop sending you so much free art, because our art is just so good that we are insane. Me and Susanna must have lost our mind that we are sending so much juicy, beautiful art for free to all our newsletter subscribers. So if you don't email us and tell us to stop, that means you don't care about us, because we're obviously out of our mind that we're giving you so much free blasphemous art. Get our blasphemous art for free and tell us to stop. It's too good. It's too much. We're spoiling you. Subscribe, link in the description, and become a patron if you're not poor. All right, guys.
Oh my god.
All right, guys. Bye.